Hello and welcome to another episode of Trails Through Trails, the podcast where we play through the long-running Trails series, chapter or half chapter at a time, depending on the length of the chapter and also our general mood, disposition, mental health, etc. I'm Lex and I use she, her pronouns.
And I'm Matt, I use he, him.
And today, according to Time.is, it is International Day of the Girl Child here on my side of the globe as the day of recording, which is the most perfect day to be recording an episode of Trails Through Trails.
Specifically the second half of chapter 5 as well.
Yeah. I clicked the link and it linked me to a United Nations page about International Day of the Girl Child. I don't know why it's not of the girl, but the girl child. That's what we're celebrating in Samaria today.
It's very exciting. We get to celebrate the International Day of the Girl Child, second half of chapter 5, here in Trails in the Sky, second chapter, where we spent all of last episode checking off side quests, one after the other.
Pretty much.
And this time, we are not doing that because it's story time.
Yeah, last time we ate our vegetables, and now we get our dessert.
Yep. They've really been playing around with the framework in this game, kind of like, where do we put the side quests? What kind of side quests are they? Mm-hmm. How interesting are they going to be? How many of them will there be?
Yeah.
Now it's dessert, and what a delicious, dramatic, sad dessert it is.
Exactly how we like it. So what else have you been up to this week, besides the world's saddest dessert for the world's heaviest-hearted heavy blade?
For me, my day job is in between offices at the moment. We're moving into a new place in a couple of weeks, so I get to work from home. Hooray, hooray.
Hooray.
Time has become an illusion. I cannot tell what day it is. It's been great. So I've been playing a lot of video games. I have been so deep in Ghost of Yotei. It is very, very good. I have not picked it up yet, but at time of recording, Ys vs. Trails in the Sky Alternative Saga, I think it's called.
Yes, Alternative Saga.
Is out as of yesterday. Apparently it's a really good remaster.
Apparently it does have a spoiler for something revealed in SC. If you haven't finished playing the game, pick it up now, but put off playing it until you finish this game, so you'll be able to play it, I don't know, over holiday break or something, if you're playing along with us, or sooner if you beat us. It looks so fun and so funny, just the whole concept of it.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about the Ys stable of characters, especially not the ones that would have been out at the time this was originally released. So I'll be curious to meet some of those and see what games they come from to see which ones I might want to check out. Yeah, I don't know how much of a story scenario it has. I think it has some.
It does have one.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's largely like a playful thing. I don't think it's like a serious story, but I think it's a fun one and gives the characters chances to shine.
Yeah, and it's in that cool sort of early Ys era 3D isometric look I really enjoy. They're kind of like stumpy a little bit. Yeah, it's fun to see the Trails characters turn up in that same format.
Yeah, no, it looks really fun. It looks really exciting. I still can't believe it's a real game that exists. And it's another game that the localization started as a fan translation by Team Geofront that now is I love that that's like a thing with Falcom localizations.
Yeah, this is their third game now because they had both of the Crossbell duology they worked on, and now this was just another project they were also working on that Falcom have said, we'll do that one as well, thank you.
Yeah, they're also working on now a localization of one of the earlier Legend of Heroes games that it did get localized here, but it was not a very good translation, and they're making a fan translation, and I'm like, come on, Falcom, you should re-release it, you should have their version be re-released, that would be really cool.
They're basically in-house translators at this point, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
How about you? How has the week been?
I mean, it's been pretty busy. Work's been pretty busy, and it's also Canadian Thanksgiving this weekend, so we're gonna have a big family dinner and stuff, so I'm helping my mom get prepared and all that. Mm-hmm. And then Hades 2 is still taking over my life. I have a stationary bike at home, and I keep being on it way longer than I planned because I'll be like, I'm going to do a Hades 2 run as I bike.
Nice, yep.
I get home from work, I'm like exhausted, work's a mess, I'm like, I'll just do like 20 minutes, and then it's been 40 because I'm like fighting a boss. It's going really well, so I keep going, and then I'm like, I wasn't planning to do 40 minutes, but good for me. So it works really well. Hades 2 is a good workout game.
My go-to used to be on the treadmill or whatever. I would bring my little tiny iPad to the gym and watch episodes of Supernatural because 44 minutes is a really good length of a cardio workout.
Yeah.
It was funny a couple of times. I'd have someone sitting next to me and was like, oh, I haven't seen this episode. Just kind of like half paying attention to my iPad as they're trying to do their own workout.
That's funny.
But yeah, Hades 2, they should market it as like an exercise supplement.
Yeah, it's really good. I've heard people have mixed feelings about the ending, but I'm also just having a good enough time that I'm going to have a great time regardless. And I'm interested to see how I feel about the ending.
Yeah.
But the gameplay is great and the characters are a blast. And I have beat one of the final bosses multiple times and another one I have not gotten to yet. And then there's obviously more cycles in this game of beating final bosses before you can go further. So I'm like, I don't know how far in I am really. Like, I mean, I know how far in I am if I were to say more specific spoilery location designators, but I don't want to do that. There's still lots of game left for me. I still have a lot left. I keep seeing people who are like, I rolled credits last night, and I'm like, I don't think I'm near there because I still keep dying to the same boss.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out eventually. I do need to finish actually Hades 1 first. I'm sort of at the end point, or at least at the end point for the first time.
Yeah.
So I should probably cross that off before paying another $30, $40 for the next one. It's always nice to feel comfortable not buying a video game because there are so many.
It's true. It is a really rough fall for wallets of gamers.
Oh, yeah. I keep a little spreadsheet of all the release dates. Used to be so that I could track pre-orders at in-store places where you would pay in installments. Obviously, that's not really a thing anymore, but it's just so I track all the games in there and I break it up by month, and just looking at a couple of the months coming up, they are so thick and heavy with video games.
Yeah.
You know what else is thick and... I don't like this. You know what else is thick and heavy? I don't like doing this transition.
Agate's Heavy Blade?
Yep. Agate's Heavy Blade and the story beats surrounding it for the remainder of this chapter. So should we perhaps get into it?
Right. Let's get into the game.
Eat this!
So, last chapter, we decided to do the optional side quests and then leave the mandatory 3 side quests for this chapter. So we picked up by doing those 3 mandatory side quests, which are all monster slaying quests.
Yes.
So I did the one on Crony Pass last week, but we didn't talk about it because you hadn't done that yet. I just did it because it was on the way and I was lazy.
Yep.
That thing's called the Blade Fang, I believe.
They're these like T-Rex things with... It almost looks like a tree growing out the top of them.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think we'll be able to whip through these 3 fights pretty quick because the fights themselves are not that notable. They're all pretty easy.
They're all pretty easy. The only real thing that's notable is the enemy descriptions and the fact that their attack patterns, all of them have like at least one weird thing they do that the game points at, like that they're acting weird. Like one of them will just be like, it's acting scared. Another one, can I just comment that the ones you fight on top of Emerald Tower, their monster description says they come from outer space. But those things confuse themselves and actually kill themselves, hurting themselves in confusion. Mysterious mollusk from space steals life and splits when injured, is acting a bit oddly. It murders itself. That's the Octobone.
Yeah. I did not catch the it's from space bit, but good to know. The Blade Fang, they kind of head weirdly in that they keep hitting themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And the description says, an ancient reptile monster, but something's off about it. Almost like it's scared.
Yeah.
But honestly, they go down pretty quickly. They're tough-ish, but at like 6,000-7,000 HP compared to some of the like monstrous health bars we've started seeing, they are nothing.
I also, when I was going down to get the monster and Emerald Tower, I stopped at Valyria Lakeshore on the way, and I found out that, remember that couple in Grand Cell that the wife had become a pro fisherman because the husband was always working?
Yes, I saw them, yeah.
They're now on a fishing vacation in Valyria, so I thought that was pretty fun.
Yeah, that's Norsh and Helmuth.
Yes, that's right.
The competitive fishing couple, and it's funny because I talked to her first and she's like, we're here because I'm teaching my husband how to fish. He's going to get really good at it. And then you talk to the husband and he's like, I started fishing before her. She's just better than me now.
Yeah.
So she's completely blanked on the fact that she picked up the hobby from him.
Maybe she's so much better at it that as far as she's concerned, what he's doing isn't even really fishing. It's like she has to teach him what real fishing is.
He's an F-rank fisher and she's like an S-rank fisher who's solved a national conflict through fishing for fish.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Exactly. That's how it works.
Yeah, it's so nice when you see one of those fishing couples and you look at them and say, rank mismatch. But yeah, after checking in with the fishing couple, the Amber Tower monster are our spacey friends.
Yep.
And you get warned sort of ahead of time that they will split.
Yeah.
Because we've had monsters like this before, kind of squiddy guys. When they get low at health, they split in half and they each get half of the remaining health.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys, yeah, steals life and splits when injured. Again, they're confused and they're hurting themselves as you sort of try to take them down. So they a couple of them killed themselves for me, which was very helpful.
Me too, yeah.
I hope it doesn't mean I had XP stolen from me. Yeah, you take out those guys, which I believe starts off as 2 or 3, but can quickly multiply if you don't focus your attacks.
Yep.
Yeah, they go down pretty smooth. And then the last one...
Up in Nebel Valley, yeah. Ghost Epitaph.
Now, the most notable thing about these Ghost Epitaph monsters is that on the way to fight them, I finally opened a chest and found a goddamn luck quartz.
Yeah, thank God.
It's so exciting.
Oh my God, I know.
After following that, the quartz guide that I've been using for sort of recommended augment setups and parties to make sure you're covered for, all eventualities, they kept saying luck quartz because you get it for carrying over from first chapter, which I could not do. And now I finally got the luck quartz, and that luck quartz is no longer in any of the recommended quartz setups. It's so annoying.
It's so annoying.
But in any case, we find our way to these ghost epitaphs who are these big, rocky, bluish statue things.
Yeah, and it had a really weird and interesting description.
A mold monster animating a corpse. Has potent cold powers, but seems to be acting oddly.
Some interesting descriptions on these monsters.
These guys are the ones who keep hitting themselves, then dropping stalactites.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're all kind of acting out of character. Again, these statues, they don't really take too much work to take down. These are all kind of tough level normal monsters, not really boss monsters so much.
Yeah, exactly.
These are the kind of ones you'd usually find one of as the kind of the big figurehead of a party of monsters, but we're just getting a couple of them at a time. As soon as I finished up the final monster quest, so for me it was the Amber Tower one was the final one I did.
Me too.
You get a little cutscene just saying that they've taken down all the monsters and that they can check back in at the guild. But first you get a BP question.
Yeah.
Which is, what's up with these monsters? And the correct choice is that they were afraid. Although the confused one also makes sense, because at least 2 out of the 3 monsters do go under the confused condition in the fights.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a weird translation moment.
Yeah. It feels like the correct answer should be something like they were behaving out of character.
Yeah. It's a little weird, yeah.
But in any case, we say they're afraid. Agate, because he's sort of tagged along as the guy who likes to kill monsters the most for your second.
Yep.
He says that this might have been some sort of forewarning of something society-based on the way.
Yeah.
Because there were kind of pre-warnings about these other things that they've been experimenting with. It's happened before, so it might happen again.
Yeah.
But he also mentions that monsters behaving out of character, has happened before right after something. He doesn't really specify, he just trails off.
Yeah.
Because we have to build suspense. And then our party head back to the guild to report in about these monster quests.
So we head off. We're off to see the wizard, the old wizard of Lugran. Yeah, we go to report in.
And weirdly, you don't report the quests. You have to talk to him, not report, because I tried to report.
Me too.
Because they were quests. And he's like, you don't have anything to report, idiot.
Yeah.
And then I talked to him, he's like, so you want to report? I think Lugran is senile. And this is some sort of gameplay of storytelling.
Yeah, well, it's also weird because even after you've done a quest, you can't report just one of them, and it doesn't show that you finished one on the quest board. They're treated as main quests. For some reason, they're on the side quest board, but they are main quests, so it's strange.
But yeah, they don't get the tick in your Bracer journal to say that it's a completed but not yet handed in quest, which is kind of odd.
It is. It's a little frustrating because I like the tick. I like when the game tells me I did a good job.
But yeah, we report in, we say that we fought these monsters, that they're all kind of acting weird.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut to a scene out on the streets of Bose with Maybell and Lila, not Leela.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Just chatting to some random dude about how they're on their way into the shops to do some mayoral business before moving on with their day.
Yeah.
And they head in, and then the guy who was talking to them turns around and says, "What is that?"
And what is that? Well, we don't quite know yet, but we're about to find out.
we cut back into the guild, and the funniest thing I found was that because his name is Old Man Lugren and he insists on the old man,
Yeah.
Estelle's confused when he says that he hasn't always worked here. She's just like, what, you weren't always here?
I thought you were old.
You're old. Are you not a fixture in that you've always existed in this exact spot?
No, apparently.
But he says, no, he moved here from the capital. Gives us a bit of backstory on the guild, which is that before the war, there was only one guild branch in Grand Cell. And it was only after the 100 Days War that they expanded to have branches in every city across the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Agate also mentions at this point that it was right before the 100 Days War when the monsters last started acting up.
Yeah.
So before we can really investigate that, we hear a huge bang, and there's something else to deal with instead.
Yeah, something else. And what could it be? Well, we rush outside to find out. Well, we see a broken-ass rooftop of Beau's Market, and on top of that roof, what is there?
A trans dragon.
A giant fuck-ass dragon. Yes, it's trans colors. You're right. It's a trans dragon. We love it.
It's partly the lighting in Beau's is a bit more blue.
Yeah.
But it very much is like a blue dragon with like pink ridges and scales and then white highlights under its chin and stuff. And
oh my gosh, it is, yeah.
I was so excited when it landed. I was just like, trans dragon.
Oh my god, that's so good. I love it. It's so big. I've played this game before, and I'm still shocked every time I see how big. Like, we could see the silhouette. This is obviously what in the cold open of this chapter we saw silhouetted, but just seeing it is so big. It is so big compared to a sprite of a person. It is the size of this whole building.
Yeah, it's standing on top of the market, and it is fully stretched across the entire building. Like, that's just its body. Its tail and its neck extend beyond the reaches of the building. It is huge on a scale that even makes the airships look kind of puny that we've seen so far.
Yeah, it's actually, it really uses the, like, pixel art thing to really great effect to create the sense of scale, I think. Anytime you see a person next to this thing, it's like, yeah, it's kind of awe-inspiring. Like, you're like, wow, this really is a legendary creature.
Yeah, and just from a technical standpoint, I will say this is by far the most complex detailed 3D model we've seen in these games to date.
For sure. Oh yeah. No, it is. This is the budget.
For like the airships, I love them. They are kind of clunky. Like Reverie at the end of first chapter was pretty basic.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, the Trans Dragon has destroyed its marketplace, so our party members are not quite as excited about the Trans Dragon as we are, but I think it's understandable they are worried about the people who might have been crushed. Anyway, so we run out, we're like, what the fuckity fuck? That's a dragon. Everyone is just kind of in awe. Like, Jin just goes, that's a dragon! Chloe is the one who comments, like, that has to be, like, the legends. Like, that since ancient times, there's one dragon that's been in Liberl for, like, since, forever. This one, and she's the one who connects it to that. Estelle's just like, whoa! And then somebody speaks from off screen.
Yeah, I really like this. They're all standing there saying, like, this seems like something the society did, right? And then they pan up to see
Luve, they're like, right!
He's pretty much there to say, yup.
They're like, oh my god, it's Lawrence. And he's like, finally, he's like, that was a fake name. I'm Lennart the Blade Lord, also known as Luve. So Lennart means the lion-hearted, and Luve means lion. Is Lennart how you pronounce it? Because I always just, I think so, but...
I was reading it as Leonhart, or Leonhart. When we get to second chapter of Remake, they might pronounce it Steve, for all we know, so...
Anyway, Leonhart or Leonhart, the Blade Lord. Also, we might have some German listeners, so please inform us of how you would pronounce it.
Oh, yes.
That would be really helpful, because I like to know the right way to pronounce things, so please let us know. But yeah, the Blade Lord. Enforcer number 2.
Enforcer number 2, Len, Leon, Hart, Steve, the Blade Lord, is here. And so many names for this silver-haired youth.
Yes.
Because he's still being called silver-haired youth in this scene up until this point. His name is Len Hart, but it's also Luve.
Yes.
But it's also not Lawrence. He loves his L names. He's really consistent on that. Oh, I literally just noticed Lawrence Belgar, Len Hart, Blade Lord.
Oh, that makes sense. I didn't even put that. I wanted to point out, just because when we last got a big list of enforcers with numbers, I told the tarot card, so I'll just say the High Priestess is number 2, and he's enforcer number 2, so he is the High Priestess. which is fun. I like the gender inversion. The High Priestess has to do with like mystery and secrets hidden under the surface. It's also esoteric and a little supernatural in that sense. Like it's authority and power, but in a like more spiritual, supernatural sense, as opposed to like within like societal structures. You know, looking deeper inner truths and stuff. But Olivier points out the wordplay that Louvet means lion and Lenhart or Leonhart means Lionheart. Louvet does not care about this translation game. He's like, bye, and jumps on a dragon. He's like, stop trying to mansplain me to myself, Olivier.
Yes, I love his dramatic look-back portrait as well that they use at this point. He's sort of like looking back over his shoulder.
That's the first portrait we ever saw of him. In chapter 2 of FC, when the first time we see him, like his little portrait, is when he comes to see the school play. And he just like is commenting like, haha, school play, and then leaves. And that's the view of him we see. It's that sprite. I love it. The Dollar Store Sephiroth pose.
It's so good.
It's so good. We gotta come stop. He is too cool to be called Dollar Store Sephiroth. Like he is pretty cool. Like this is not actually a dig. It's just a funny thing because he couldn't afford the full wig, so his is short.
Yeah, affectionate.
But he's basically like, leave this one to the royal army. This is way out of your league.
He tells us to piss off. He jumps on top of his dragon, and they fly away. At which point, the smartest person in our party makes the smartest decision, which is that Agate runs after it on foot.
Yeah. And that had occurred to me, but not quite how ridiculous that is.
You don't even have fast travel, Agate. What are you gonna do?
It's flying! And it's fast as shit. Like, it's not flying, but, like, at a slower pace that you can, like, see it. Like, it's gonna disappear from your view. It's, like, flying faster than any airship except the Arcee, as we learn later in this chapter, could possibly go. It's zooming. It's also going too far. Hang on, we'll have to bring this up when it comes up. But when they talk about, like, the G-force impact or whatever, how is Louvet standing upright on this dragon at full speed flying? We gotta figure this out.
Powerful calves.
Anyhow, thing takes off. Agate decides to run after it, and the rest of us are like, what the fuck, Agate? And then immediately there's some people, like some NPCs around there are like, oh, thank God, there's bracers, please help us. There's still people trapped under the rubble. And obviously, we're going to save the people stuck under the rubble instead of chasing after a flying dragon on foot.
Exactly, yeah. So Paul, who's one of the shopkeepers who runs a stall in Bowes Market, gets us in. You do get another bracer point choice here.
Yes.
Which, this one, like, I feel like the momentum of the scene encourages you to make the wrong choice, which I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Because your two options are, like, rush in and start saving people, or organize first.
Yeah.
And it is kind of the rush option first, so it feels correct to go like, this is an emergency, I should run forwards. But that's the instinct that Estelle's fighting all through the first chapter story.
Exactly. That's the whole point.
And so it's a great, like, gut check on you at that point.
Like, it makes Estelle's character growth feel better, like, more, because you're feeling yourself having, like, the struggle of making that choice, and then it makes her, the fact that she is therefore able to sit back and say, okay, no, wait, we have to organize this really quickly, and then takes charge and delineates who's going to do what. You're so proud of her. You feel really proud of her.
Her gut instinct is to help, but it's tempered by training, which is to help correctly. So yeah, she says, we've got to figure out how we're going to do this quickly, but we've got to figure it out. And she, like, breaks them up into teams, just snap. Doesn't even take time to, like, check in with anyone the way she normally does. She
goes, Stara, you take Tita and Chloe and help evacuate, which also I like that it's like, Tita, obviously, we don't want Tita we don't want Tita under the roof that could potentially, there could be structural damage. We want her in the safest role possible. Chloe is still a civilian, technically, as well as the princess.
Yeah.
But I think Estelle's thinking more as a civilian. Shara, take the civilians and do the safer option, which is still very important to evacuate people.
Yeah.
And then Jen, Olivier, and I are going to go and help get people out of the rubble. We're going to do the heavy lifting. I like that she puts herself in the brawny man category.
This is just a brilliant bit of leadership in this moment because, yeah, she's managing so many priorities at the same time. She's putting people in the roles they need to be in. they're most effective in. She's keeping people safe. Like, she's protecting Teoh, who is a child, and Chloe, who is a princess, without invalidating them by making them just leave. She's giving them an active duty that also keeps them out of harm, but doesn't work against their skill set. She gets the brawny man in to do the brawny man thing. Olivia's also there as well. And
he's Erebonian. This is when he can show his Erebonian manliness, I guess.
Yeah, she trusts Shara to protect the people who need to be protected and why they need to be protected without speaking about it. It's just like A+ bracering from Estelle.
It is. And what I love about this also is, so when I did first aid training to be a lifeguard and stuff, one of the things they teach you is never ever say, somebody call 911, point at a person and say, you call 911. Because if you say somebody do this, then everyone will assume someone else is doing it. But if you say you specifically, this is your job, then the person will do it because they know that's my job. And so it's great. Okay, that Estelle's not going, okay, somebody has to do this and somebody has to do this. She's immediately delegating tasks to specific people so that immediately everyone can just get to it. In an emergency, people like to have a delegated task because people like to be helpful and know what's the most helpful thing to do and then go do it. People like people respond well to that. So I'm proud of Estelle, even though I made the choice technically. Like, it's Estelle made the choice and I'm proud of her.
We are so proud of her choice that we made.
Of course, we didn't need the whole brawny man group because Jin is enough. We rush over to where Lila has been trapped under some rubble, and the two market, food market guys who Mabel yelled at last game for hiking up prices. They are trying desperately to lift this chunk of roof debris off of Lila, and they can't. And Jin's like, I think I can lift this by myself. Move away. Right after the two of us aren't enough to lift this. And Jin's not just like, I'll help you. I love that he's not even trying to let them have the feel good of we helped and we need a third person. He's like, no, you two leave. You are I am better off without your help. And he just lifts the whole thing by himself with no issues.
Yeah, fully yeets it off. Yeah, Mabel's freaking out because Lila pushed her out of the way to save her and took the hit that Mabel would have taken from the roof.
Yeah. And also she's distraught because her girlfriend is trapped under rubble, which is distressing enough without the guilt.
Yeah, this is the story trying to veer into the path of every lesbian romance in mainstream entertainment.
Yeah.
It's like, you're happy, so now someone gotta die. But we're not having that in our Trails game.
Jin's not letting that happen. Jin's gonna lift that roof up.
And Estelle and Olivia are going to drag Mabel out from underneath so that she can get some medical attention.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone else is being taken care of. And we sort of cut away from the scene at this point.
Yes.
To get another update at the guild.
And we're all talking about what happened. We're all like, first of all, holy shit, a dragon just came and totaled the market. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Take a second for that. But then we're all really kind of shocked at the idea that Luve would do that. He didn't seem like the kind of guy he's not a good guy, but we didn't get the impression that he was the kind of guy who would take pleasure in putting civilian lives at risk. Possibly, I mean, Lila's still comatose. We don't know for sure that she'll recover yet.
Yeah.
And there are other people who were injured too. And it could have gotten so much worse. Everyone's like, I didn't think from the time we met him, we thought he was a bad person, but not that kind of a bad person.
Yeah, he gives off the vibe of the I'm looking for a worthy challenger villain, not the wanton destruction villain.
Yeah.
This feels a little weird coming from him because usually he's just there to fight someone one-on-one, smirk, and then yeet a port off a roof.
Exactly. As after telling them something a couple of words that will completely crush their soul and spirit.
And possibly set them on a path to redemption.
Yes, after the second time he does this to you, he'll say, you'll end up on a path of redemption. Well, maybe that's just if you're really dense. If you're agate. But we get a phone call that interrupts our debrief. Clearly, from what we hear, Lugren's answering the phone, and from his side, it sounds like something really bad has happened. And he gets off the phone and says that was the elder of Ravenue Village. The dragon just attacked Ravenue Village and completely burned down their orchard.
Yes, which is very bad and dramatic, but it was offset for me by the fact that the elder's name is Rysen, Reisen, but I realized that the joke is it's Elder Raisin.
A wrinkled old apricot.
He comes from an orchard and he's a raisin because he's a shriveled up old piece of fruit. And so every time I saw him in the remaining scenes, I was just like, Elder Raisin, oh no, you should be serious. This is a bad time.
I love that. I'm so glad I didn't put that together before I played the chapter, because that would have totally taken the wind out of some of those scenes, but that's amazing. Thank you for your service.
Oh, happy to help. The dragon basically did a drive-by torching of the orchard and kept going.
Yeah.
But at last report from this phone call, Agate was there helping fight the fires.
But of course,
he really was not far behind that dragon as he was running after it on foot.
Or the dragon took its sweet-ass time setting that orchard on fire.
Yeah. Either way, we know where he is, and kind of before anyone can even have a discussion about it, Estelle's like, bam, all right, we're going, let's get to Revenue Village.
And Tita is like, I have to come with you. She becomes your mandatory companion now.
Yeah.
She's like trying to explain to Estelle why it's so important to her. First, she's like, I mean, my guns could help hit things that are flying, and she can't get the words out. But Estelle is like, and because it's Agate and it's Agate's hometown.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's okay, I understand. But you have to obey me if I tell you to get to safety.
Yeah.
And Tita's like, okay. Now, before we leave town, I didn't go talk to everybody because I was playing this, it was a few hours ago. I had a hair appointment today, 8:30 in the morning. I didn't get home till 2 p.m.
Goodness gracious.
That's how much hair I have. But I wasn't participating that. I thought I was going to have more time to play than I did. So when I was finally playing, I was like, I gotta hunker down.
Boom, yeah.
So I didn't talk to everyone, but I did find Lyndon. And you might recall that when we were in Beau's last game, I found a guy, an academic guy in the bar who's talking about ancient dragons now. He's studying ancient dragons.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And talked about the ancient collapse. And this guy is screaming. He's like, it's a dragon! It's one of the legendary creatures that's said to have lived before the Great Collapse a millennium ago. I need to get testimony from witnesses and draw a sketch. And I'm just really happy for him. Like, I like that he's still there in town. For my sake, and I'm glad, he got to see a dragon.
Good for him. It's just standing in the streets screaming, vindication!
I hope that he's not sounding too excited around all the people who, lost their livelihoods. But I didn't stick around too long because there is a town on fire that's, all made of wood. So we do have places to be.
Yeah, I did feel compelled to run immediately to Revenue Village as well. We get there, They do a pan across the orchard, it's fully bombed out, the tractor that's always sitting there is destroyed. It's not looking good for the town that survives on its, fruit production.
Yeah.
Also, the music is very weird and sort of sad and spooky here. I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
It's sort of this electronic keyboard mixed with, a sort of a high, woo, yeah, it's great.
The vibe you get, this whole scene, this town, we know, has already gone through some shit. I think we learned in the first game that it suffered during the war, had to recover from a lot of bad shit. And now what it had managed to rebuild in that time has been destroyed. It's the feeling I think that the music and the scene is meant to communicate is that all these characters from this town are thinking, how do we possibly rebuild from this?
Exactly, because for backstory, just remember that Revenue is the town that used to be a mining town until they abandoned the mine, which is why the mine dungeon is called the Abandoned Mine. And then they pivoted to fruit production as a way to keep the town sustained, because that and not being on the airship track kind of took them out of commission. So now their backup plan has burnt to the ground, and it's just like, geez, guys, come on, give them a break.
Now, they already had to rebuild a bunch of the town after the war, 10 years ago. They lost people. They were one of the only places that actually lost civilians.
Exactly.
This town has been through, that feeling, right? When somebody in your life has, been through a lot of shit and then something else bad happens to them and you're like, come on.
Yeah.
Is there not some sort of karmic, justice? Haven't they had their due of bad things? It's really? Another thing has to happen to them? It's desolate. It's despairing. I talked to some people around town as well. Not many people. So I went into the inn and restaurant just to buy a recipe, and I talked to Limon, the girl in the restaurant. And she's talking about the orchard, and she says that every single person in this town has put something of themselves into this orchard. Every single person, even if they weren't full-time orchard workers, it's part of them. And then she goes, and it was all torn down and burned to ash in a single moment. I'm so sad and frustrated, I can't even cry.
Honey, that's rough.
And you feel that, because we've all had that feeling when you're so upset you can't even cry.
Yeah.
This is a well-written game, you guys.
The fact that this is incidental dialogue in a side building that you wouldn't really be encouraged to go to by the story in this moment.
Yeah.
Oh, we love it. But I also stopped at the restaurant to get my recipes before continuing, because completion first.
Yeah.
But then I did go down to the orchard and talk to the raisin.
Mm-hmm.
We ask him about the situation, and they sort of say, like, the fires are all out, so it's just about, like, clearing out and figuring out what's next at this point. As far as Agate, he helped put out the fires and then just kind of vanished. No one really knows what happened with him.
And Estelle's like, did he go find his sister? Like, she lives here, right? Like, he probably wanted to check on her. And Elder Raisin is like, oh, so that's what he's telling people. Okay. And, like, he doesn't elaborate on that. He just goes, Agate is not with Misha. I checked earlier. And we're like,
yeah.
Okay. And then also I just noticed that Jin, before we part ways, Jin goes, Sir Elder, is there anything we can do to assist you? And I just love that. I think the implication is that it's a cultural or translation thing. That,
a language very, yeah.
Yeah, or like that he's using like an honorific before an honorific type of thing. Like,
yeah.
But I thought it was really a good little touch, Sir Elder. And also very in character for Jin.
Like saying, Mr. Doctor, sir. Yeah.
Elder Raisin asks us to look after Agate because he says when he's in this sort of state, there's no telling what he might do.
Yeah.
With the implication that he might hurt himself or get hurt or do something really reckless. I also talked to, I forgot to mention, the girl in the hotel, I think it was. I think it's her who says that she doesn't even know how she's going to look the orchard workers in the face after this.
Oh, boy.
And I love that.
Yeah, this has really had an impact as just kind of a drive-by.
I think in a lesser game, it would be like, oh, it's just a small town and nobody died, so it's really not that big a deal what happened. And this feels like devastating. Mm-hmm. Like, regardless of the fact that nobody died in this town, like, you feel just absolutely gutted.
Yes. Now, at this point, I also had a gut feeling, as I believe we did all of last episode, about where this is going.
Yeah, we've been talking about this since last game.
So even though the elders sort of let us know that the dragon was spotted heading north, and that's kind of all we have to go on, I didn't head north. I headed up onto the cliffs of the town where the graveyard is.
I did that too.
To that big grave at the head of the cliff, the big stone, and gave it a read. And wouldn't you know it, we can interact with it now. It says, the 6 good souls lost in the fires of war sleep here. Septian calendar 1192. Leaf, Abel, Nicole, Vim, Ileana, Misha. May you rest peacefully by the goddess's side. Huh.
I know in the first chapter remake, you can interact with it and it says those names as well. I don't remember if in original... I don't think you could have interacted with it in the first chapter.
I don't remember being able to, no.
But Estelle's thought is, wait a second. Misha, that's the person the elder talked about a bit ago. I'm really curious now, but we need to chase after Agate first. Like, clearly the game is like, we can't let Estelle have the realization right here in this narrative moment that this is Misha. It's like, oh, Misha is the person the elder was talking about. You asked about Misha knowing it was Agate's sister. So, like, it's quite funny.
They still wanted something to be there so that you as the player could feel like a pat on the back for figuring it out.
Having done it, yeah.
But they can't jump the story. But you do kind of get the feeling from Estelle that she's kind of like connecting the dots but doesn't really want to.
She's like, I don't want to. I'm gonna ignore this because I have a bigger thing I can focus on.
She also makes a point of not mentioning anything to Tita in the moment as well, because if anyone's going to take it hard, it's going to be Tita Russell.
Yeah, especially when she's already stressed and upset and worried about Agate.
Yeah.
But we then head into the trail towards the old mine. And I haven't been calling out chest messages just because, like, there's been so many chest messages this game, but I do need to call out one right here. Mm-hmm. If you can read this, the clowns have won. Literally
the screenshot I have in front of me as well, yeah. Completely off the beaten path from where you should be heading, but it is a winner.
There's another chest out there that just says no, period.
Yeah, I got a couple of those in the remainder of this chapter, actually, and it's one of the funniest ones. It's just no.
It feels like both the chest saying no and the localizer, the writer, refusing to come up with the chat. He's like, no, I can't do it right now.
There's like a handful of messages that indicate that as we go through.
Oh, yeah.
Like Amber Tower, I think it was, I found one where it's like, do you know how excruciating it is to write 300 of these chest messages or something?
Yeah, there was another one too that wasn't about the chest messages particularly, but that was just like, please send help. We've been working on this game for 5 years.
Signed the Loc team, yeah.
Localization team. But we make our way up to the abandoned mine.
I do like that along the way, the signpost that points you towards the mine has been knocked down as well.
Yeah, that's fun.
Did the dragon just like stop land and go piff to knock it over and keep going? Or was this Agate just running really crazy?
I mean, given that the entrance to the mine is also, like, not just the chain been, like, slashed up, but also, like, everything around it's been knocked over, and I believe, like, on top of the big space is open air,
Yeah.
so the dragon didn't have to go through the entrance. Like, I think Agate has just been doing property destruction. Anything he sees, he's just punching as he runs.
I kind of believe that because in some of the animated fights you get, like during this chapter, the way he fights, it's almost like he's like slamming his sword down to propel himself, like a rocket jump.
Yeah.
So I can imagine him just like slamming his sword into the ground to use it as kind of a...
to go faster.
Like a Tokyo Drift situation, and just collateral damage of the sign.
And can you imagine if you weren't an anime character, how exhausting that would be to, like, try and, like, move that way? Like, you would not be able to walk by the time you got to your destination, with a sword that big, especially.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this guy on TikTok, I think it was, and his whole thing is that he trains, like, does, like, strength training using a sword that's a recreation of, like, the sword from Guts, like, Berserk's.
Okay, yeah.
Like, because he has, like, a Cloud Strife-style massive sword. So he got one that's the same weight and everything, use it as, and, like, swings it around in the park and stuff. And even he can't swing that sword after 300 days of doing that the way that Agate can.
Yeah.
No human can or should be able to.
No.
In any case, you can still read the sign as it's lying on the ground. They don't sort of comment on the fact that it's destroyed, but I just appreciated the little touch.
But we get to the mine, and the chain on the entrance has been slashed open by a sword, clearly Agate, and the characters comment that. Everything else around the entrance has been destroyed too. And we go in, and when we came here last time, there was like a really quick way to enter into the big open area, but it's been caved in now.
Yeah.
So we have to go a longer way around. And luckily, a bridge that had been destroyed last time is now fixed, so we can go to the rest of the dungeon that had been off limits last game.
It's barely even a dungeon because, like, there's no monsters.
But there's just chests and corners.
Yeah, there's a couple of chests. It's just some healing items to kind of give you the hint that you're going to need them soon.
Yeah.
Once you make this very quick lap around the new version of Ravenue's Abandoned Mine, we find ourselves back in the clearing that we found the airships in last time.
Yeah, and there are Luve and the dragon, and Luve's doing something with the gospel that looks like he's, like, reapplying. I think he said something about the control, that the gospel's control. He's clearly using it on the dragon. Whatever effect the gospel has, he's, like, reinforcing right now. And he holds it out, and, like, there's some, like, waves, like, air waves.
Yeah, because when they start this scene, it almost seems like he and the dragon are coming to, like, a disagreement. It's fighting back against him, so he's got to, like, reestablish the mind control. And then once that's done, he can turn around and just, like, absolutely decimate Agate's entire shit.
Yeah, but he goes, of course this is the sort of job he'd shove off on me. So just as, like, another entry in the, like, weird, complicated relationship between Luve and Weissman, he's like, of course I'm being forced to do this. Of course Weissman's making me do this job. I hate it. Like, he's clearly just more issues in that relationship. I'm just flagging that. Agate walks up with his little cocky smirk going on. He walks up and he comments, "You're the red lieutenant from before." It's very funny for Agate to call anyone else red. That's why I'm pointing this out. Points out that it's the same weird sword. Weird, interesting shaped sword.
Yeah.
And says he's going to slice the smug look off of Luve's face. And Luve's like, "Oh, you're so upset over that destruction, but it was nothing compared to what you saw 10 years ago." Which is like, oh boy. That's really brutal.
We also get a career update about Agate that he hadn't let us know about as far as I'm aware.
Oh yeah, we did.
Because he's like, Agate Krosner, the heavy blade, rank C. Ah, no, you were promoted to rank B after the coup.
Right, so he's B rank now.
Great, so you got promoted and you didn't even tell your friends, Agate? Like, communicate better. We want to be happy for you.
Kind of the thesis of this chapter in Agate is that he needs to communicate with people. Both in terms of he needs to tell people things, and he needs to listen when people tell him things, such as "it's not your fault."
I mean, I wouldn't say his communication skills are at zero, though, because I do love his line when Luve calls out, like, the 10 years ago thing. His response is just, "You don't know shit, so don't say shit."
That's perfect line. Luve does point out that in some ways, after Luve says the thing about 10 years ago, he says, "You and I are very similar in some ways, Agate Krosner," which hints that Luve also experienced something traumatic during the war 10 years ago, though we don't know the details quite yet.
Yes.
What I love about "you don't know shit" is, like, it's bigger letters, all caps, "you don't know shit," exclamation point. So don't, exclamation point. Say, exclamation point. Shit, exclamation point. Like, couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Poetry, modern Shakespeare. You don't know shit, so don't say shit. He's also, like, crouching down to fight as he says this. Like, that really hit a nerve.
Then we sort of launch into a cool, like, animated battle thing.
They do great with these two's animated battles.
This fight is also the first time they found the, like, sparking special effect in their game engine, because they have heaps of, like, sword sparks as the two blades are clashing. Looks really good.
It's great. And Silver Will is playing again. As expected, it was really good. And Luve is pointing out that, like, don't you remember, like, how different our abilities are from the last time we fought? Why on earth are you engaging me by yourself when you know it? And I guess basically, like, you think I give a damn about my chances of winning? I have to fight you. Like, I can't not. And Luve's not impressed. Luve's like, really? This is the extent of your power?
Yeah.
And then Luve pushes him away, like, with the sword, and gives him a really raw line. He says, we may be similar in some ways, but there is one crucial difference between us. That being the reason we take up our swords. Agate's like, the hell are you? But Luve interrupts to say, I wield mine to discard my humanity and walk the path of ruin. You only wield yours in a desperate attempt to fill the emptiness within you. Swinging that lump of iron fills the void within you, but in the end, you're only deluding yourself.
Yeah, burn.
Luve is the most aggressive therapist.
Yeah.
Like, he gets right to the heart of an issue, but it is not in a way that is going to go over well. It's the hardest way to hear it.
Yeah, his title should be the Psychoanalyst Blade. He's like, I don't need to cut you when I can ruin your mind first.
Yeah. Also, that line he gives him about himself, that he is discarding his humanity to walk a path of ruin, is fascinating. Just a thing to, like, keep in mind as we go forward, because we don't really have follow-up on that yet. But Luve is like, I am not fighting because I'm angry and, like, directionless. I am deliberately trying to make myself into a monster. I am not just angry and lashing out.
Yeah, I love the little line that kind of sums it all up, which is that for a brief moment, your rage lets you flee from your grief.
Yeah.
Like, Agate's always angry. He's always pushing forwards because he clearly does not deal with his past by the way he's sort of not telling us about his sister this whole time.
Though, as we'll hear later, it seems like he was preparing to tell us. Which is progress. Luve goes on to say, should you continue to hide behind your delusions, you will never move forward. As you are now, you are neither fit for enlightenment, nor the path I follow. You will always remain incomplete. To which Agate gives the beautiful line, shut, exclamation point, the, exclamation point, hell, exclamation point, up! A lot of U's, exclamation point. Love that.
Yes.
What's interesting about Luve as a character is a lot of villains in his kind of position would refer to themselves as having enlightenment or being in the path of enlightenment, or they've seen truth. I like that he positioned himself at odds with that. He's like, there is enlightenment and there's my path. They are different paths. I am not on the path of enlightenment. You're not prepared for either. I am qualified to observe that you're not at the stage of being able to do that, but I am not claiming that I have enlightenment either. I am the opposite.
Yes, I can recognize what enlightenment looks like from my position of, like, endarkenment that I've been doing.
Yeah.
It just absolutely wrecks Agate's entire shit, and that is the moment at which we cut back to Estelle as we rush in.
Oh, wait, there was a good chest line.
Oh, yep.
I just didn't have it screenshotted because I forgot what order it was. An empty treasure chest, full of promise yet devoid of payoff. A perfect metaphor for me.
Yeah, I started getting concerned for the chess message writer at this point. I was like, are you okay? Were you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, I did have one that I enjoyed in this dungeon as well.
Mm-hmm.
You rest your head atop the empty chest.
Yeah.
You rapidly withdraw as you hear what sounds like a heartbeat. Just another one of those creepy lines that we haven't had for a little bit.
I love those ones. Telltale heart. But then when we go into the next area, we get to see how things are going with Agate and Luve, and as suspected, they're not going well for Agate. Agate's all there cursing him, and then Luve says, as the one mercy I can offer you, I'll end this quickly. Charges up his power, and then slices forward, and it sounds like he's gonna kill Agate, but he actually just slices the heavy blade in two, which is kind of like slicing his dick in two. I understand.
Really cutting him down to size. That was a real oh shit moment, like seeing his sword get broke. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, like what the fuck? It also implies what is Luve's sword made of? I think we're all meant to be wondering what the hell is this thing made of. Because they keep commenting that this sword is weird and unusual.
And golden, yeah.
Yeah, and swords aren't supposed to be able to slice through giant buster swords. Like, that's not really supposed to be a thing you do, but he can do it. Now, as Agate's, like, collapsed on the ground, like, ah! Luve's like, I should alter the Gosper's control style while I have a moment. And Agate is going, just a damn second. And it's like, I'm not done yet. I'm standing up. He's pointing the, like, broken half of his sword. He's like, it's not over yet. And it's not clear whether Agate is Delulu here, thinking he can still fight, or whether this is kind of a suicide stand from Agate almost. Like his sword's broken. I think my read is more that I don't know if he's actively trying to die here, but I think it's meant to be communicated that in this moment, he has no concern for self-preservation at all.
It does have a bit of a last stand energy to it. But at the same time, the fact that his sword has been cut in half means that he now just has a regular sword. I would have loved to have seen this as like, you know, when in Dragon Ball Z they take off the weights and suddenly they're super fast. It could be that kind of thing for Agate, where he suddenly... he goes from being the heavy blade to be like the lightning quick blade.
Yeah, like, he would be a way better fighter if he'd given up that heavy blade ages ago. But Luve says, you still cling to that broken lump of iron, and says, as you wish, you shall die as broken as your blade.
Damn.
And this is when Teoh screams no and runs forward and stands in front of Agate, holding up her bazooka, like, in front of her face, like it's a shield. Agate's like, no, don't. Estelle screams in the way, this is the scream. There's no voice for the scream, and yet I could hear it perfectly because it's the same scream as when a little kid runs out into the street and as a car is going by and the mother screams. Like, we've all heard that. Some of us have made that scream. And it's like, I could hear that even though there was no voice. I could hear that is the scream Estelle's making as Teoh rushes in the way of a man with the intention to kill.
Yes, this is the worst thing that could possibly happen while Teoh is under her care. Running in front of a murder man from the murder club.
Who has just announced his intention to murder the person that Teoh has gotten in the way of.
The guy who just terroristed an entire building is probably not going to take too much into account with a child's safety. Yeah.
But Luve tells the dragon to stop them, and the dragon blows a bunch of fire in the way to stop Estelle from running over. And Teoh, with her face all scrunched up and her eyes closed, screams to please stay away. Luve notes that she's Professor Russell's granddaughter. And he's like, well, I heard you were a genius, a child genius, but clearly you're not, being so reckless. No genius would do that. And then he says, in truth, I'm not fond of harming women or children. Still, I'll do what I must. And he raises his sword and points it at Teoh.
Yeah, that's hard.
And then he goes, now be a good girl and move. And Agate is freaking out. Agate's like, you son of a bitch, like, stop. And Teoh goes, I won't move. Exclamation points go up over both Luve and Agate's heads. They're like, they weren't expecting the little girl with the murder sword pointed at her to say no. She goes, I won't. Agate's always saving me, so I have to help him back. I have to. And then she stops. She goes, no, that's not it. It's not just it. He's blunt and he always looks annoyed. He always treats me like a kid and calls me things like short stuff, but he's really very nice and he's always watching out for me. He means so much to me. I love him. So I won't move no matter what. And the font has gotten bigger here. And she's got her arms spread out. And when she says she loves him, she drops her gun on the ground and she just spreads her arms out like a human shield. She's like, I won't move no matter what. And Agate's like, clearly, like, shocked by her little outburst. And Luve goes, you're a very brave little girl. Though I can hardly believe you care so much for such a blockhead. But then he goes, it seems you aren't the only ones who wish to challenge me, so I'll take my leave for now.
Yeah, everyone seems sort of stunned because there's no clear... They're like, what do you mean, someone else? And then that's when bombs rain from the sky and start striking the dragon.
And we see General Morgan's portrait overlaid on an airship. We can't actually see his sprite. General Morgan is here with an airship to come and deal with the dragon. And Luve jumps on top of the dragon, as he likes to do. But before he leaves, he tells Agate, so long as you continue to delude yourself, you won't amount to anything. Nor can you protect anything you deem important. Now, I'll remind you all, the name of this chapter was That Which One Must Protect. But then Estelle cuts in. I love Estelle. She's so fucking funny. She's like, now look, I stood here and listened to you run your mouth for it felt like forever. I'm so not letting you get away after that. And then Estelle's like, oh my god, I let you have your fucking monologue. Now let me have my turn.
Yeah, it's like, come on, you're not the only ones here. Luve responds, Estelle Bright, you too should take this to heart. Once this experiment ends, our plan will enter its next stage. If you fail to keep your wits about you, I guarantee you will come to regret it.
And then he takes off. And Morgan's like, oh, curse the dragon, because it's not getting hurt. And Luve laughs as they shoot all their cannons at it. And it's like, as if your cannons could do anything against a legend. Let us go, Ragnar the Ancient.
Aha!
So we have a name for the dragon.
Cool dragon alert.
And it's so cool whenever you see Luve on the back of this dragon. It really gives you just the sense of the scale of the thing.
He's like so far down its back as well. He has no control over what's going on. The dragon takes off.
We get that shot of it flying into the distance that we also got when Agate was screaming and running after it. I like that. I'm like, they're reusing the shot, but I like it enough that I'm happy. I'm happy to see it again. I don't care that it's being reused. We talked to General Morgan after this, and we're basically like, okay, what do we do next? And General Morgan's like, this is the Army's job. This isn't for you. Get off of it. The Army is equipped to take care of this. The Army can be trusted. The Army deals with this kind of stuff. The Army protects people.
I really like the line that Morgan drops as he's kind of like trying to brush Estelle off as well. He's like, leave the bread to the bakers, Miss Bright.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. And we hear, it says young man's voice off the corner. And it says, you're kidding. Or not even that. It's like apostrophe R-E, kidding. But then Agate limps on, and he's limping, his sprite is limping, and his green bandana has been replaced with a white bandana to be bandages, to show that his head is wrapped in bandages. I love that they just recolored the sprite and didn't make it a bandage. It's so good. But it's the exact same bandana design, it's just recolored.
I love his medical bandana, it's so good.
It's so good. He goes, leave the bread to the bakers, war to the professionals? Huh. Protect the world's soil and those who live upon it, huh? Don't make me laugh. And he says that in the big font. And then he picks up General Morgan by the collar and goes, You're always too late, in all caps. And he's shaking him. He goes, you idiots move like slugs. You just worry about keeping everyone in step. You can't do shit without orders. You can't even protect the things you say you will. You can't do it now, and you didn't do it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And Morgan is shocked by this. And I think the way we're supposed to imply is that if it weren't for this last line, Morgan would have responded to that whole diatribe very differently.
Yeah.
And then that last line hits, and Morgan just goes, are you? I wonder. And goes, who the hell could leave it to you? Gotta protect Misha myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then collapses to the ground.
Yes.
There's the rub. I think we have all the pieces pretty clearly together. Misha died in the war 10 years ago, and the Army didn't get there in time.
Yes.
And I think General Morgan has put the pieces together too, which is why he's not mad at Agate for picking him up by the collar and shaking him and screaming in his face.
It's kind of odd to me that this whole time that Agate is holding an army general by the lapels and threatening him, one of his subordinates is standing right next to them doing nothing about it. Like, if your general gets attacked by a private military guy, basically,
yeah,
you would defend him. You would pull your sword. You would point a gun to that man's head.
See, here's the question. Would Morgan be mad if you did that because it implied that you didn't think he could take care of himself? I could see Morgan being that type of guy.
Is he that kind of fragile masculine? It's possible, yeah.
He did decide to punish bracers for a decade because his favorite underling decided to become a bracer, and he decided to obstruct justice in the country for basically 10 years.
Yeah, his work husband left and he was salty about it, yeah.
Exactly.
I can imagine either way, if you tried to step in to help General Morgan, he'd be like, I can handle it myself. Or you don't, and then after the bracers leave, he turns to you and says...
He's like, how dare you?
What, you aren't going to protect your commanding officer? He sounds like a diva to work with, honestly. But at least he's a diva who's connecting the dots like everyone else.
Yeah, and then he says, all right, we'll bring this young man back to rest in his house in Ravenue. And it sounds like, okay, that's a good idea. Wait, how do you know Agate's house is in Ravenue? General Morgan goes, I remember that I met him once before. The little boy from that day has grown quite a bit. I'm like, well, when was that? It was immediately after the 100 Days War.
Yes, he says, the day the memorial to his sister and the other villagers was erected. And
everyone's like, what? So now we have confirmation. Not that we really needed it.
Yes.
But yeah, we flash over to Tita is nursing Agate in his house, and the rest of us are with Elder Raisin and General Morgan. And basically, we talk about what happened to Agate.
We get the backstory on what happened. Basically, all of the old men at the table were withholding this information, saying it was kind of not theirs to share, but now we're deep enough in it that they're like, okay, we'll give you the download. Which is basically that during the 100 Days War, incendiary rounds from the Erebonian military hit the village.
Yeah.
And being that it is made of wood, fire is not good for it. and
No.
a large portion of the town went up in flames, including a number of homes, and 6 villagers lost their lives, one of which was Misha, Agate's little sister.
Yeah.
And that's not even the worst of it yet.
General Morgan says that this was ultimately his fault because they had set up a perimeter, basically, a defensive line, that was intended to protect the village, but what it did was actually attract the fighting closer to the village than it might have gotten otherwise.
Yeah.
And so he ultimately takes the blame for it. And the elder goes, I don't actually think that Agate blames the military for this. Agate's always blamed himself, above all.
Yes.
And I don't know, he says, I don't know why Agate blames himself. It doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no reason that Agate should hold himself responsible, but he has always blamed himself for not being able to protect Misha.
Yes. So he left town after this.
Well, he became a thug for a while.
He became a thug for a while in Ruin, joining the Ravens, and I assume just throwing them all at walls all day long. And then eventually became a bracer on the invite of Cassius, because they kind of had a similar impetus for joining the Bracer Guild. They both lost a loved one and were giving back to the community as a way to heal.
Yes, and Sel's the one who points out the similarity there between Cassius and Agate becoming bracers because of their losses in the 100 Days War. But then we're talking about, okay, what comes next? And basically we want General Morgan to now let us be involved with the dragon shit. General Morgan's like, no, this is the army's area. He's like still saying that. But then he gives a speech basically about how he respects bracers, because we're kind of like, okay, is this just you hating bracers still? And he goes, no. And he kind of talks us up. He says that, like, even with the dragons still on the loose, like, we've given invaluable aid, we've helped people a lot. With the situation, we successfully evacuated the market. And, you know, Agate's firefighting was hugely helpful. Only the bracers could have answered this quickly. And Estelle's like, it's really weird to hear this from you of all people, General Morgan. General Morgan also commented about Agate that he remembers Agate from the memorial. He was a boy, like a 14-year-old boy, and he remembers the rage and grief in his eyes, that he's never seen anything quite like it before or since. And the red hair also helps make him identifiable.
The phrasing that General Morgan uses is so poetic for a military man. Yeah, he's like, bottomless sadness twisted by rage, eyes such as I have never seen before or since. And it's just like, everyone kind of knows what Agate's deal is, that he's angry so he doesn't have to be sad. And he found a way to channel that, but he hasn't necessarily found a way to heal that.
Yeah, he hasn't found an answer. He's been looking for some sort of answer, whether it's to why his sister had to die or why he couldn't help her. He hasn't been able to find one. And Estelle's taking all of this in and also pointing out the parallel between why her dad joined the Bracers and why Agate joined the Bracers, and reflecting on the fact that both of them, their way of dealing with this grief and incomprehensible grief and loss was to try and become bracers, and because of the potential to help the community and give back and what bracers represented to them. And so she says, to prove the potential of bracers and more than anything to help the people in need around me, I want to do everything I possibly can to help in this crisis. Please let us be part of this.
Yeah.
And Morgan actually wonders if during the 100 Days War, if there had been a bracer guild in Bose, he wonders if things would have gone differently. If there had been a force in Bose that could be dispatched and respond as quickly as bracers can, and that was purely dedicated to civilian protection, things might have gone very differently.
Yes, because we have to remember that at this point, not only did they not have bracers stationed in the village, but they didn't even have them in Bose, because this is at the point when only Grancel had a branch. So sending out bracers wasn't something you could just do on a snap decision even then.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's good to see Morgan kind of turning a new leaf potentially, because he says that he won't promise anything, but he will take it to the big command meeting that he has to go to and report back to see if we're allowed to
help in some way. Yeah. So he takes off because he has, military stuff to do. We talked to the elder a bit longer, and basically we asked the elder to look after Agate, and the elder says, he's like, don't worry, he is part of our family here. We'll take care of him.
Yeah.
And he says, the village can recover. We've been through worse. We should just be thanking the goddess that no one's died yet. And that's such a sad, horrible line. Like, imagine the village has been through so much that he's like, nobody's died. So honestly, we're lucky. Like, damn.
Low standard.
We flash over to Tita and Agate's house, and Estelle and the gang comes in, and they look around the house, and this is where Agate used to live with his sister. There's actually a portrait of them on the bedside table.
Yes.
Estelle's like, Agate looks about 14, so Misha must be 12, which is kind of a funny, 14-year-old boys don't all look the same age.
Yeah.
You can't always look at a picture of a guy who you didn't like. If you knew someone when they were 14 and you see a picture of them around that age, you might be able to place like, yeah, that looks like him at 14. But when you've never seen somebody at 14 before, like, you don't know.
How can we possibly place his age when he's smiling as well?
I know. And he's no bandana. Like, come on. But Misha's there. Misha's looking cute. She's younger. So she was 12 when she died. So it's not that she and Teoh would be the same age now, as Teoh had surmised from what Agate said earlier, but rather that Misha was the same age when she died as Teoh is around now.
Yeah.
Because she's the age that he remembers her as.
Yeah, he was trying to say basically like, you're about the age that she was.
And Teoh comments that when he said he came back to visit Misha, he probably meant her grave.
Mm-hmm.
But she also tells everyone that Agate had said that when work calmed down, he would introduce us all to Misha, which in retrospect probably means he was going to not only tell us the truth, like what happened, but also invite us to come and pay our respects at the grave, which is like huge for Agate. Like that would be a huge sign of trust for Agate to be like, I am inviting you to come to my sister's grave with me.
To be open and vulnerable about myself in this way.
Yeah. But then we tell Teoh the plan that we're going back to wait at the guild to hear from the army. Tita's like, and Estelle's like, it's okay, I know you want to stay here and look after Agate. You don't even need to say anything. And yes, that's fine.
You keep an eye on him and catch up later. But don't let him out of this bed under any circumstances until he is healed. That is the task you are being tasked with. Keep him healing.
Yeah, we also got a fun little line from Estelle when she reads Tita's mind about the fact that she wants to stay. Estelle says, I can read the inside of your mind like a picture book. It's a big sister thing. I love that Shara being Estelle's big sister and Estelle being Tita's big sister, like all the parallels of how like the big sisterly adopted big sisters in this game.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
So we head out at that point, and when you get to the village entrance, Estelle basically is prompted to be like, either stay a while or leave, because if you leave, then it'll transport you back, which is beautiful. It'll transport you to the guild and Bose.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried as I prepared to leave Ravenou because I'm like, oh crap, I've got a party of 3 now. This is going to be tough because some of the just random mobs are surprisingly annoyingly tough around here. There's a lot of those detonating blob monsters that I hate with a passion.
They're the worst.
But yeah, they warp us back to town so we can go straight to the guild and update Old Man Lugren on the latest happenings.
As well as Mabel, who's there now, and the rest of our party. Lugren's like, wow, to think Agate's past was that terrible, which is like a really dramatic way to say, like, yes, but also something about the way he's saying it, like, cracks me up a bit. And Mabel says, now it makes sense. We're like, well, what? And Mabel explains that a little after the 100 Days of War, when her dad was the mayor, Agate burst into their house one day and yelled at the mayor and asked him why he abandoned the people of Ravenou Village. And Mabel didn't know the context, and she was upset that he burst in and yelled at her dad like that, so she jumped out and slapped him.
Yeah.
Which I can totally see it, like 12-year-old Mabel doing.
I like that she specifically says, I leapt out and slapped him. So she wasn't in this conversation or maybe even in the room.
It sounds like she was hiding in the shadows, like hiding behind a door.
It sounds like she was hiding outside the mayor's office door, listening to this shouting match that Agate's just barged in to have, and she just ran into the room and slapped him. And I kind of love that.
Yeah, I love that. But Mabel's feeling bad now. She's like, I've been unfair to him. I didn't realize that this was the deal.
Yeah.
And we also ask her how Lila's doing. And Mabel looks very sad and worried and says that her injuries have been treated, but she hasn't woken up from her coma yet. Then we get a call. So we can be saved from this sad, awkward conversation, I guess. And Lugren seems very happy on the phone. But then it turns out we have basically been invited as observers on one of the airships that's going to be used in the operation they have planned, which is better than nothing. You know, it doesn't mean we get to do anything, but we get to participate. And it's still, like, it's meaningful in terms of, you know, it's Morgan. The fact that he's even letting bracers be part of this big military mission in any capacity. It's progress.
That he would give an inch at all is impressive for him. That's growth.
But Mabel says something and then she kind of stops and stutters, and Olivier points out that she looks dizzy and exhausted. And Mabel's like, well, my father worked himself to the bone during the 100 Days War. You know, one time he conducted extremely dangerous negotiations in order to deceive the Imperial Army. So if he can do all that, I can keep going now. And, you know, that if you're physically not able to stay on your feet, Mabel, then maybe you actually you need to rest. You might not be very effective at helping the people.
Yeah.
She asks us to please help get rid of this
dragon problem.
Dispel the fear, I think is the word she used. Yeah, deal with the dragon problem. We go to a piece of art, actually, of Misha, who we now recognize, talking to Agate, and this is clearly a flashback of some kind. And basically, the long story short of it is that Misha's talking about how Agate's birthday is coming up, and she's preparing a present for him. She's preparing some sort of accessory. I thought it was going to be the bandana.
Me too.
For a second, even though I've played it, but it's not. Agate's first like, I'm not a girl, I don't want an accessory, and Misha's like, oh, I've been working really hard on it, but if you don't want it, it's totally the same way Teoh would talk in this case. And Agate's like, oh, fine, just don't make it too girly. And Misha's like, okay, I won't, I promise, it's gonna be great. I just wanna thank you for always being my big brother, or something like that.
I see, look, he gives this tough boy, like, persona, but I can tell that when they were kids, he was the older brother who would just sit there and patiently let the little sister, paint his nails and do makeup and put his hair in pigtails and stuff.
Oh, for sure. He says the tough thing, but he's
uncomplaining.
But he's patient and sweet. And he wakes up and Teoh is there in the kitchen. He for a second mistakes her for Misha. He starts to try and get up, and Teoh's like, no, don't move, you need to sleep. And he's like, I'm fine, I'll keep getting up. And Teoh screams no, and does the same pose that she did when she was like between him and Luve with her arms spread out. And her hair is down now, so it looks different. Like it's cute when her hair is down. She has so much hair.
Yeah, I love this. Like, you'll have to kill me to get out of this bed.
Yeah, I'm a human shield. She's like, I promised Estelle, I promised I wouldn't let you out of bed until you were better. She goes, no, with like more and more ends. It's so cute.
She's really struggling to like be decisive.
Agate's like, I get it already, jeez, and lies back down, which is great. He's like, fine, I won't fight you on this. And Tina's still going, and then she just starts crying. And Agate's like, oh no, oh god, what happened? And she's like, I'm just so relieved, and then she just bursts into tears.
Yeah, and so he leaps out of bed anyway to like give her a hug, basically.
But he shows emotional maturity here that he wouldn't have in the first game, where he goes, I'm sorry, Teoh, I guess I made you worry pretty bad. After charging off alone, I get broken like a twig in a fight I had no chance of winning, and then on top of all of that, I made you do that crazy thing to protect me. Kudos to Agate for immediately identifying, like, wow, that is a huge amount of stressful shit for a 12-year-old kid to just have a short run of it. And Teoh goes, yeah, Agate, you dummy! I was so worried. I saw you get hurt, and he's like, yeah, I really was a complete idiot.
Yeah.
And it pans up to the moon to like show that time passes as she's just like crying in his arms.
I thought we were getting an animated cutscene for a second when that happened. I was so excited. But no, we come back down. Tita's kind of finished crying.
Yeah.
And Agate kind of sits down and tells her a bit more about the story than what we heard.
Well, first, he comments on the decor a bit and tells her that the house actually burned down 10 years ago, and the village elder, he'd heard that the village elder rebuilt the place, but he hadn't been able to bring himself to step back inside, and it turns out he basically redecorated it to be exactly the same or as close as possible.
Yeah, it's kind of sweet that it's not until this point that he finally notices where he is. He's so laser-focused on Teoh this entire time. He's like, oh, this is my house.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he sits back on the other bed, not the one he was resting in, and explains that Misha was making him a present for his birthday, some kind of accessory that she was hand-making, and then when they were fleeing for the mountains, she ran back to the house to get it, and that's when one of the incendiary rounds hit the house. And this is like the most haunting line maybe of all. He goes, when they finally pulled her out, she was ... burned pretty badly, let's put it that way. And even after everything she suffered, she still had that present clutched in her hands.
Crazy.
And it's like, you can tell that what he's saying, A, he doesn't want to say what her body looked like, and B, he doesn't want to give Teoh the image, but Agate very clearly saw the burnt, melted husk of his sister pulled out of this building.
Yeah, that's... Yikes.
Something no one should ever see any human body in that condition, especially your like kid sister. Like, oh god. No wonder Agate has issues.
Yeah, so he kind of shows her this accessory that survived. We don't really get any information on what it is exactly. It's just kind of a yellow blob in his hands.
We just know there's stones in it.
River stones, not like septium crystals, just like pretty rocks.
Yeah. I think the implication is that the whatever she was putting them in kind of melted, so it's now just kind of like a blob with some stones in it.
Ooh.
Like, I think maybe it was a bracelet or something like that, but it's now melted down. He says the metal parts were hopelessly melted, but the stones were still okay. So I don't, like, I don't think we're supposed to know what the accessory is because it's not identifiable as an accessory anymore. It's just a melted clump of metal with the stones in it.
I'll be interested to see how they render that when we get to second chapter remake.
Me too.
Because maybe they never actually thought about it in the first place.
But it says he never intended for this to be a memento of her, but when he left the village, it was the only thing he couldn't part with.
Yeah, and he kind of implies that he's been keeping this close to him to keep himself angry, to keep running on that rage fuel non-stop.
And he has some heartbreaking lines here.
Yeah.
He says, it was the one thing he couldn't let go of. He says, my anger at myself, my anger at the worthless, spineless son of a bitch who couldn't even save his own sister. I ended up putting all that pent-up rage into every swing of my sword. As long as I did that, I could at least feel like I was keeping it together. A half-baked man, trapped by rage and self-deception, unable to move on. Huh, it's exactly like that bastard said. Now it's worse, ain't it? I'm just a piece of shit who runs away from anything painful. I'm the thing I hate the most. A goddamn loser of a dog running around with my tail between my legs. And then a bigger font now. Ha ha ha. I'm pathetic, absolutely pathetic. Like, he's crashing out here, guys.
Yeah, he sure is.
And now what we have, the clear thing that all of his stuff, all of his bullshit, all these games, it is coming from a place of deep self-hatred. Teoh goes, I really don't understand how you feel, Agate. I don't think I can really try to understand what makes you feel so hurt, but I think I need to say something in Misha's place. Don't you dare make fun of my big brother! Yeah. You don't know the first thing about what makes my brother such a good guy. I know my brother better than anyone else and won't let anyone talk badly about my brother, even if it's you yourself. Agate's like, huh? She goes, I know I might not measure up to Misha, but I still know a lot of good things about you, Agate. It made me kind of angry despite not really understanding what you meant. I just love the way this is written. This is such good child writing to her, being like, I don't really understand how you feel, but I am upset and angry to hear the way you're talking.
Yeah. She's doing her best to say, like, you need your sister, I'm not your sister, but here's probably what she would say. I'm doing my best to fill that void, like, in a helpful way while being respectful.
And I'm co-signing everything here. Like, this is coming from me, but also from what I think Misha would say. And Agate kind of has this moment of self-realization here, that he can't judge himself when he has just such a limited vision, like, of his own perspective of himself, bent by all this anger and grief. Just stewing in anger and sadness is not going to get you an answer.
Yeah.
Like Luve told him in the first game, the thing about you have to let go of your anger and sadness.
Yeah, just because a villain said something doesn't mean it's incorrect. And he's kind of like, all right, I clearly need to make some changes because basically every major event that he goes through in the storyline so far, he ends up grievously injured.
Yeah. Takes bullets, gets poisoned.
Which says that, yeah, maybe your approach to life is not the correct one. And so he's kind of rethinking a little bit, which we love to see.
That was just a really good scene. After it ended, I had, like, a moment where I was like, oh, a few tears came out. I was like, oh my god, that was a good video game scene.
It was very sweet, yeah.
Like, it really got, the writing of that, I really thought, it felt really real. It really got me for a second there. And I've played it before. I was just like, it wasn't even that I was emotional about what happened so much. It's just like, wow, this is a good game.
Yeah, very well written. Like, it's nice to have a child in a JRPG who's not written like just another 20-something.
Yeah.
She definitely reads as a child. She's not, even though she's the smart child, she's not just another adult.
Yeah, and she reads as a child, not too much, not like she reads around her age, like a young version of her age, but like, as in like intellectually mature, but a little emotionally, like maturity-wise a little like, but 12-year-olds have like maturity all over the place. She reads like a child, but also complex and interesting. Like 12-year-olds are people who have complex emotions, and that like, it's really well done, I think.
Yeah, she's at an age where she's starting to have more complex thoughts, like in her like emotional social development. And her brain is upgrading and she's kind of doing her best. And she's doing a great job.
She's doing so good.
She's also like helping people much older than her like deal with their shit by telling them off, which we love for her. Compared to the shy little kid we met at the start of first chapter, you've come a long way, baby.
Yeah. Baby girl child.
That is why it is the International Day
of the Girl Child. Anyway, we go back to the guild. We find out that the queen has sent aid to Bose and to Revenue, and Estelle goes, that's our queen! Awesome!
They love that that's our line.
And Olivier also is like, she's awesome. She's way better than the Erebonian lords and ladies. Like, I love that Estelle and Olivier are just like a 2-person Queen Alicia fan club. Jade also points out that she's better than the Republic leaders, but he's a little chiller about saying it.
So yeah, we get told to head to the airport when we're ready, but we do have a bit of time to like prepare and get ourselves ready. Even though we're going to be spectators, we may still want to stock up just in case we get called in for the worst case scenario.
Yeah, and we do learn that we're like, well, the market, how are we supposed to stock up when the market's gone? And like, well, all the merchants conveniently have set up their shop in the hotel.
Yeah. They all have their own hotel room. It's very cute.
None of them wanted to like take a sick day.
Except for Paul, the guy who got us to help with evacuating people.
Oh, right.
He's actually taken a day off. He's back at home. I ran into him in his house, actually.
What does he do again?
He's with his wife and daughter, who are both so excited. Because he's like, I run the clothing store and you don't really need clothing right now.
Right, yes.
So I decided to take this as a sign and take some time off. Like, his daughter is so excited, but his wife is more excited. She's like,
yeah,
we haven't spent time together like this since before we were married. And she like giggles or something.
Oh my God. No honeymoon even, damn.
I also actually did run into Lyndon at this point.
Oh yeah.
Which he's mentioning that what happened before, like that big beast definitely looked like a dragon, but it was weird because it was so like aggressive and destructive. But the dragons of myth are known to be gentle and intelligent, so he's not so sure it was a dragon anymore.
Yeah. Interesting.
And also an update on the marriage proposal in Anti-Rose.
Oh yeah, I forgot to check on them. My God.
Yeah, the meeting got cut short because of the dragon attack. But they rescheduled for today. Raina thinks it's a good thing because it means that Felicity had more time overnight to kind of like cool down and like consider it like reasonably instead of just like being angry about it in the moment. And it turns out things are actually going pretty well.
All right.
The Lord from Erebonia says that he manages like the agricultural and mountainside lands back home. So he just kind of lives out in the country and all he really ever does is hang out and like hunt and read. And so he's like, it's much better than being in society surrounded by people. I'd rather be surrounded by nature. And Felicity's like, yeah, city life does kind of suck sometimes, you know? It might be nice to have a break from it. And all of the servants of them are standing around kind of like crossing their fingers that it's going to work out. But it's like, yeah, like maybe they have more in common than they thought.
I just wish I knew his age, because I really hope that he's age appropriate for the high school girl.
I hope so.
I mean, I still think, like, we make such a big ordeal about, like, how Chloe is obviously at 16 too young for an arranged marriage. Like, where's that energy for Felicity? Like, she's, 17 at the oldest?
And the Erebonian guy's manservant does say that the Lord lacks ambition. He's happy where he is. Like, he's satisfied. He doesn't want to, like, climb the social ladder in Erebonia like a proper noble. So he's a bad noble. She's a bad noble. Maybe they could be
good at being bad nobles together. I just headed to the airport. So was there anything else to check up on?
No, nothing really. I did those couple of checks and then just headed on to the airport as well because it's time to get on Operation Sightseeing.
Yeah.
We're good to go.
So we're prompted to basically are you ready to wait for the Army's airship to come, or do you have more stuff to do? If you just to wait, everyone kind of chats a bit about airships. Yeah. And Jin's like, it's crazy to think about an airship squadron. Like a whole fleet of airships. Like we have these squadrons. So wait, Calvert does have, they call them squadrons, but they're just like for show. They're not like actually like military, like operational vehicles. Olivia's like, yeah, we have airships in Erebonia, but like really cavalry is like where we're at. So tanks is like kind of the main part of our force. And then we hear a weird sound, an engine sound, and Stell's like, I've never heard that engine sound before. And we look up, and there she is in all her glory, the Arce.
Hooray!
And it feels so glorious, not talking about that other airship we heard about, the Glorious, but it feels so grand, like, even though we have seen this thing fly before, it's got a new engine, and it feels special, and the way they always shoot the Arce, and, like, frame it, makes you feel like, how awe-inspiring it is in universe.
It's the airship, for sure.
And everyone's like, oh my god, we're gonna ride the Arce, holy shit.
I was so excited because as it's landing as well, they're doing all these beautiful panning shots, and I'm like, I see the front porch where I can hang out and the back porch where I can hang out. And I can see how tall it is, so there'll be a lot of floors. How exciting. Yeah. And this thing is even bigger on the inside than you would expect.
Yeah, it's like a TARDIS. A lot of space. And then as it lands, who comes out but Niall and Dorothy, first of all.
Yeah.
Because they have also been invited along because Niall did some good journalism and they think given that everyone's freaking out, they're hoping that a reporter being on scene who can talk about what the military did will, like, help people feel like, okay, the military's handling it.
Yeah, it's kind of a Queen organized PR move specifically. She says, basically they're using the RSA because it's the big shiny new airship, and the population seeing that ship in action going after this threat will help calm people down even before the Dragon is dealt with. And then having the reporters on board to document everything will let the people know how well they solved it and how cool the RSA is for being the ship that was able to help them solve it, all that kind of stuff. So big brain move from the Queen while also addressing the actual problem.
Yeah, like, it's not just a PR move. She's also sending in the most advanced part of her fleet to deal with the problem. It's not just, like, a photo op. But she's also like, while I do this, let's make a photo op out of it while we do the useful thing, too. Which is, it's nice. But, so Morgan's like, okay, get on board. But, Claudia, you come first, because this is technically your airship. And the people will get mad if you're just boarding with everybody else. Which, I like, does everyone on board know she's the princess? I'm not even, like, I guess so.
Yeah, she hasn't even put in her extensions yet.
Exactly, but so she has to board first. I'm not really sure why. She's boarding at this, like, in the same entrance and everything, but she has to go in first.
She has to board first, and she has to stay on the bridge because she's, like, she's the princess, so it's her airship. So she can't hang out with the rest of the crew. She has to, like, stand next to Julia at the captain's chair.
Yeah. Maybe just an excuse because Julia wants to, like, ask for the tea or something. I don't know. But anyway, Estelle's like, I just wish she'd accept that we civvy bracers are competent. Like, she's clearly a bit put out about the fact that she's just there to observe. But she, stiff upper lip, goes on board. And right as the airship takes off, somebody's like, no, wait! Because Agate and Teoh have arrived. Because Agate did mention last night that, like, he's feeling way better. Now they've arrived, but they missed the airship. And Agate's like, well, shit. Teoh's like, I mean, we could like, call them or signal them or something. And I was like, no, it's fine. I do need to buy a new sword.
Yeah. She's just double sad because not only does she not get to go on the mission, but she also doesn't get to ogle the RSA, which is the main reason she wanted to come along. Yeah,
she wants to go on the RSA and watch it, look at all the machine stuff. But then the receptionist at the airport runs up to Agate and is like, hi, I have a package or something arrived for you. And it is something from Professor Russell. We don't quite know what yet, but something was shipped to Agate. And Agate is surprised by this too, because it doesn't seem like he was quite expecting something. But we'll find out later, because we get some cool shots of the RSA speeding around.
Yeah, they're really going hard on these 3D models, and I'm very happy for it, because as few as they have, they used a really great effect in this sequence.
Yeah, they really are.
They kind of do a multimedia approach as we learn more about, I bet you'll never be able to figure out what this plan's about, Operation Dragon Capture.
Oh boy, that's subtle.
What a name.
Basically, there's a lot of explanation of it, but basically the plan is all the airships are going to circle the dragon and shoot at it to, like, funnel it over the lake, and then they're going to shoot tranquilizers at it until it goes down, and then they're going to, like, use ropes to, like, tie it up. And they're like, we are prepared. If that doesn't work, we will use live ammunition and try to kill it. But the queen does not want us to kill it. She says she couldn't bear to kill this thing. This ancient protector thing. So they're going to tranquilize and capture it. And that's basically the plan. They've got, like, a shitload of airships involved.
Yeah, they've got 8 ships kind of spread out across the kingdom, just kind of doing laps, keeping an eye out for the dragon, because this thing moves so fast that we have no idea where it is.
Yeah.
So they're all just waiting to signal to say when it is, and then the RSA and the tranquilizer bullet ships can fly in to meet as everyone else kind of hounds the dragon over the lake so it's got somewhere safe and non-destructive to land. We're not too worried about the dragon drowning, I guess. We hope that dragon floats.
Yeah, I was like, are we trying to kill it? But I guess the plan is not to kill it, just to get it in the water.
Yeah.
I guess that's because anywhere else, the dragon falling out of the sky would kill civilians. The only place that won't kill civilians is if it lands on the water. And Morgan points out that this plan is, part of this is a reflection of all the things they learned during the 100 Days War about, like, military strategy. Mm-hmm. Basically, we get an opportunity to walk around the airship, of course, because that's what Estelle does.
Yeah.
But now it's a new airship design, unlike the same airship model that we've done the whole tour.
As they're wrapping up, Estelle does mention, Louvet's gospel that he was using to sort of control the dragon.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, so we've determined that the gospel has a range of 5 arge, which means the airships will fly no closer than 10 arge. And arge is a meter. That is so close.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we won't fly closer than 10 meters to the dragon. You shouldn't fly that close anyway. It's a dragon.
I guess the idea is even after it's sunk, like when they'll park the ships 5 meters away and then take like a rowboat to get the rest of the way, I guess.
I get, yeah.
Yeah, it's don't get close. You've got a big ass airship. Like you can keep your distance a bit.
Nobody brings up the fact that we've seen a variety of different gospels with differing abilities over the last few days. And so maybe give a better clearance.
This is true. But I guess it's more about just the like EMP effect. That's always consistently been 5 meters. When it does the chain effect, it's because if something's within 5 meters of it, then it gets deactivated, and then the chain effect spreads to anything within 5 meters of that. So I guess they're only worried here about it deactivating the airships as opposed to like doing other effects.
It just seemed weird to me.
It's a little, overconfident in that you know how this black box that no one understands works.
Yeah, they're kind of assuming that the augment that controls dragons is the same one that switches off lamps.
Yeah.
When we know that there's also like an earthquake one and a make mist one. And
mind control.
I felt that when Estelle brought up that thought that maybe that conversation should have gone a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. But it didn't, and that's fine, so let's go wander around the airship. Because I knew that I had to kind of check in with everyone before we then sort of take off on the mission, I decided to work my way from the bottom of the ship up to the top, sort of ending in the cabin with Chloe as the last party member and then Julia as the captain.
All right.
So starting from the bottom of the ship, well actually...
Now we're here.
I lie, because the first thing I did was turn around at the end of the meeting and talk to General Morgan, who was in the room with me.
Same.
He just kind of reiterates that we're there to observe only, and Estelle's like, yep, we totally understand, we agree, but kind of presses him on the fact that you must suspect something's going to go down, or something could go down if we're here at all.
Yeah. And
he kind of confirms but says it's unlikely, and that they're only to engage if things end prematurely.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, if we all die or something, you guys can go in.
Well, I guess if the plan ends prematurely, like if the dragon escapes, I guess would also qualify. Like, because the plan either is supposed to end with them chaining up the dragon or killing it. So I guess if it ends before they're able to do that, or they're not able to do that, that might qualify. Hopefully, it's not just if they're all dead.
Yeah. So yeah, starting from the bottom of the ship, down on the base level of the ship, you have the hangar with some like road vehicles and stuff, and then Jin is in one of the barracks rooms, just kind of shadow boxing to keep himself warmed up. He kind of tells Estelle that he's similar in that he can't sit still right now. He's kind of a kindred spirit in that like zoomies energy on the airship. So he's practicing his forms, specifically because like, yes, we do a lot of live fighting, but you don't practice your form. So just by fighting in real combat scenarios, you kind of get sloppy. So it's important to kind of like lock back in and make sure you're like maintaining your martial arts.
Yeah.
And Estelle's like, oh, yeah, shit, I haven't done that at all since we started traveling. I'm probably really sloppy now and terrible in combat. And he's like, chill. It just means if you feel that way, that's a good sign that you can start doing this to feel better. And he's just like reiterates, it's like, yeah, I still want to be your sparring partner, so let's do that sometime. Which was lovely.
It was. I like that. They're sweet friends.
It's really nice to have such like a strong mentor figure step in, and like a fellow martial artist as well.
Yes.
But yeah, next up was Olivier, who's in the mess. So you headed straight for him, did you?
Well, it was right there. And he of course has a glass of wine right in front of him. Which I'm glad to see that he's managing to stay on brand. Hilariously, if you go talk to the head of the chef or whatever, he says the mess or whatever isn't open yet. And it's just like, well, how did Olivia get that wine? And he's like, oh, I treated him because I was unpacking the wine and he started talking about it and knew so much that I figured he'd appreciate it. So I love that Olivia managed to get wine from a bar that's not open for business.
I didn't even get that little interaction back with the chef. Though, am I right in remembering? Because there's a couple of people in the mess who talk about how Casey, the chef, is really creative and is like revolutionizing their menu day on day to keep everyone excited. Is he the guy from The Gate who was the really good chef?
I don't think so. I think it's a different guy.
Yeah, I thought he'd gotten like a really cool like promotion.
That would be cool. I don't know yet.
But yeah, so chatting to Olivier, other than finding out about his wine, Estelle asks him about dragon myths in Erebonia. And he says that they do have tales about dragons, especially in the southern regions near Bose, so close to the Liberl border. But things are a bit different in the Empire. This plan would be a lot simpler if the dragon had been attacking Erebonia, because the Emperor would have just said, kill it.
Yeah.
Because anything that's a challenge to the power of the country is an enemy, basically. So we would just kill it, no questions asked.
He also makes some interesting comments that the Imperial Institute of Science was actually about to launch an investigation into the dragon stories cited in Bose but then the 100 Days War broke out and put an end to that plan of, international scientific investigation. Olivier also points out that securing national peace through force of arms is the Erebonian way, and that he doesn't like this.
No.
There's also a little interesting exchange where Olivier is like, Morgan is probably quite concerned about the possibility of the dragon flying up into the Empire, because that would also be taken as a declaration of war.
Yes.
And that would be bad.
Yes, so that's part of the reason why so many of the airships, once they're finished, spotting the dragon, they're not to just, pull back and let the RSA take care of it. They've got to fire with bullets they know aren't going to kill it, but are going to, force it to take a particular
direction, yeah.
To guide it into the lake. So, yeah, because they do not want it to get to the Empire.
Nope. And it could easily get there. We don't even know for sure that it hasn't already, technically, because it flew off really fast and no one knows. And it flew in the direction of the border, because it went up to Ravenue, which is the closest town to the Imperial border. So, scary stuff.
So, yeah, after that, I left Olivier to his glass of wine and headed upstairs. Upstairs, I actually really there's a army guy standing guard in the hallway on the level that has the doors out to the 2 observation decks at the front and rear of the ship. And every time you walk up to him, he salutes.
Yeah.
He just goes from a neutral stance to a salute.
Oh, that's cute. I didn't notice that.
He's the only guy on the whole ship who does it, but it's so nice because then he's upstairs is this, downstairs is that. It's okay, everyone gets lost here the first time. I just loved walking past him every time because he'd put up his little salute. I was testing the range of it, and no one else in the entire ship salutes you. It's very rude.
What assholes? I guess we're not the rest of us don't think we're cool enough to be saluted.
So at this point, I stepped out onto the front deck where you can find Niall and Dorothy.
Yeah.
Dorothy is doing her thing.
You had a really sweet little exchange with her. She's photographing the airship and eventually going to photograph the dragon. But she's really glad to see Estelle's doing well because she's been worried that she really upset Estelle by showing her that picture of Joshua, which is quite sweet from Dorothy.
Yeah, it's very nice.
And she's like, if you were sad, then I'd have to be sad. But you're not sad, so I don't have to be sad. And Estelle's like, aw, Dorothy.
To see the world through Dorothy's eyes, my goodness. When I spoke to Niall, he says that he's waiting on the star of the show to arrive, the dragon. So he's just kind of chilling for now. He also mentions that this gig was hotly contested. Mm-hmm. All of the reporters at the Liberl News Service wanted to go. And Estelle's like, oh, so did you guys draw straws or something and that's how you're here? And he says, no, I'm a damn good reporter.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here. And I was like, hell yeah, Niall.
We love it.
He does mention that, coverage of the coup and everything really did help his profile. But, I'm a good reporter and that's why I'm here.
If you talk to him again, he asks if you know Julia.
Yeah, he's like, what's your relationship with Julia? How well do you know her? And she's like, oh yeah, I guess I've known her for a while now. And he mentions that she's really popular with the populace, but they don't know a lot about her because the army kind of keeps to themselves. They don't have a lot of interaction with the public.
Yeah.
And that they want to do an interview with her as a representative of the army, and specifically for her.
Yeah.
Possibly even do a photo book of her.
And Estelle's like, I want that photo book.
Yeah.
Estelle thinks to herself that she really wants it.
I feel like the negotiated version that the army would allow would just be her saluting in a variety of locations around Liberl. And honestly, it would still sell.
That would be so good. I would want that photo book just for fun. They should sell it as fan merch. That'd be hilarious.
But yeah, Estelle's like, yeah, I'd like to see that album though. And then if you're talking to him again, he's just like, hey, if you get the chance, just ask her if she'd be into the interview, okay? Just do me a solid. And then I was like, yeah, all right. And then I went out to the back deck where you find Shara, who's hanging out.
Yes.
Not so sad music this time, which is lovely.
No, yeah.
Her chat's pretty short. She's just kind of killing time as well, and says that she believes the plan that should work, but that she doesn't know for sure.
Yeah.
And that they need to be ready just in case Morgan says, B team go, if things don't work out the way they hope.
Yeah. And she points out what Estelle already had noted, that the fact that they're here at all means that Morgan is maybe not as confident that his plan is absolutely positively foolproof as he's coming across. That Morgan also has some doubts, evidenced by the fact that they're here at all.
So everyone's kind of like gets the vibe. And he's confirmed, he's like, yes, this is like an unprecedented threat. We don't actually know how well this plan will work. So let's just cover all our bases, like have plans B, C, and D in reserve.
We don't know for sure if the tranks would work on a dragon.
Exactly. If they'll even puncture its skin.
We don't know if the live ammunition would work on a dragon. We don't know any of that. Like, we think we can probably, like, corral it to the ocean, but we don't even know that for sure.
Mm-hmm. One thing I meant to point out was in the galley for the ship, they have a pool table.
Yeah.
Which doesn't seem standard issue for a military ship.
Good for them.
Oh, also, one of the guys downstairs, Hugo, confirms that this is the actual first flight of the Arcee since the engines were installed.
Yes.
No test runs, straight into live combat. Crazy. But that sort of led me eventually up to the bridge, where Chloe's sort of hanging out as she has to because she's a princess. Like everyone else confirms, Estelle's got the zoomies.
Yep.
And she's like, hey, don't worry, this thing's fast as shit. Like, we'll be there in no time.
And then she's like, you should walk around now, because when we get to top speed, you will be flattened by the force. We will have to, like, squat down.
Yeah.
So that we don't get knocked over. So walk around now while you can. If you want to look around, this is the time.
Because once we reach, they call it flank speed.
Yeah.
You'll be amazed. And then I checked in with Julia in the captain's chair.
Yep.
She's amazed to be here, but she's still worried about facing up against an unknown enemy, and just wants to be ready.
Yep.
And she's like, okay, everyone, let's just gear up. Then if you talk to her again, Estelle says, did you know that Niall, Mr. Niall Burns, wants to cover you for an article? And she's like, an article about me? Yeah, he wants the citizens to know the real Royal Guard. He's pretty serious about his job, so I think you can trust him, you know? Julia says she's well aware of Burns's professional credentials and wouldn't have allowed him on the ship otherwise, and absolutely supports the idea behind such an article, but has to decline based on the precedent that they've had similar proposals from other companies that they had to refuse. So they have to be consistent and not give any special treatment to Labelle News. And she says, forgive me, but please tell him as much. I still look forward to seeing the article, however. And then I went back and saw Niall again, and you can talk to him again.
Oh, wow. I thought it would immediately be like, and now you are progressing with the plot.
Oh, no, because I actually talked to Julia first and then left to go find Niall and then came back to do Chloe.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I just wanted to tell it all in one go.
Nice.
So I preempted a little bit. So you go back to Niall and Estelle tells him that, I'm afraid she just straight up refused. He's like, what? Refused already? And then Estelle says, she said something about it being kind of inconvenient. Which is not at all what Julia said.
That's not what she said. Estelle's just stirring shit up. I love her.
She's just making shit up. And I was like, she's even more guarded than I thought she'd be. Estelle apologized, and he's like, don't worry about it. It's not your fault they keep to themselves the way they do. There's got to be some other way. And Estelle's just like, obviously he would not be deterred when there's a hot scoop on offer. And he's like, she wouldn't even say yes to you, huh? Figured it'd be easy to get at her through a friend, too. And then he's just sort of left there to kind of ruminate on his next plan to get an interview with Hot Julia, the army babe.
I have a theory. That Estelle didn't tell him the real reason because she really wants this to happen and she doesn't want Niall to give up by being like, oh, I see, it's a matter of policy of the army that they can't. Like, she's like, no, I want Niall to keep trying, so I'm not going to give him the, like, actual policy reason.
Well, yeah, like, Estelle even has that line to herself when she's like, I kind of want to see the photo book. So she's like, I've kind of got to, like, not put him off entirely. But yeah, I love that there's this little back and forth and it achieves nothing. Like, I went back and checked in with Julia again after this, seeing if Estelle would say, like, hey, I let him know, but he's not giving up, but it doesn't come up again. But I was just like, oh.
I love that there's any follow-up, though. That's really fun.
Yeah.
And then, plot.
Yeah, so once you have actually talked to all of the party plus Julia, the next time you pass through a doorway, similar to, like, the travels on the airships normally, you get triggered to the next story scene.
And this next story scene is a dragon sighting. Dragon has been spotted. And so they execute their whole plan. We get, like, a big screen comes out of the wall to show the map and to show where all the airships are moving. And then we get, as they're executing the plan, though, we see Cassius seeing off all the other airships that are, like, on standby.
Yep.
And he makes some comment about to think they got him. Like, maybe I should know. If I act, it will simply be the same thing all over again. Great Teoh, who arch in the sky, please guide us who stand upon this chaotic earth. So this is implying two things. First, that Cassius is familiar with the dragon.
Yeah, I was like, does Cassius know this fucking dragon?
And that Cassius thinks maybe I could intervene, and if I intervened, I have a chance against this dragon. And it sounds like he knows him. like is familiar with this dragon guy.
It sounds like he's familiar, like he's friends with the dragon. I'm
like personally familiar, has met him before.
Yeah.
At the very least.
My buddy Raggy.
Cassius knows fucking everybody.
Jesus, yeah.
Even legendary dragons who have been unconscious for 20 years. We go back to the airships. Morgan orders everyone to fire the tranks, and it seems to work. The dragon falls into the lake, and dragons float. Yay.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, check that it's safe, and then we'll approach.
Oh, but this is only after we've gunned the engines to get into position and we achieved that flank speed that Chloe warned Estelle about.
Chloe yelled this is all to squat.
They do talk about the speeds that it hits.
Yeah. Oh god, we have to do math.
I did it ahead of time, don't worry. So when they initially fire the missiles at it, they do nothing, and the dragon accelerates to, they say, 2,600 Selgay an hour, which is 260 kilometers per hour.
That's a lot.
And they think it's going to outstrip the ship, but then like, oh no, that's fine. We can speed up. We've got flank speed, whatever that means.
I guess it means fast enough to flank the dragon, maybe.
We can get up to 3,200 Selgay per hour, so 320 kilometers an hour.
How fast does your plane go again? Let's see.
Chloe's like, everybody, you're going to want to like crouch down because gravity is about to go crazy in here.
Oh no, commercial airplanes typically cruise around 880 kilometers an hour.
Oh, 880 kilometers an hour?
So 500 to 700, depends on the winds, but that's for a commercial airplane.
So it's not even fast for a plane. I guess they're just not used to it. I don't think they ever have G-shock warnings when you get on like a flight.
Maybe it's about the acceleration is what flattens you rather than the actual speed.
Yeah, they're just kind of experiencing that sensation of taking off on a flight for the first time.
And I think planes don't take off as quickly. I don't think it goes up 100 kilometers in a second the way that the RSA did.
Oh, I also jumped ahead with all of that. That's after it wakes back up. Whoops.
Oh, right. Or bad, whatever. So they approach the dragon, and it seems knocked out. We're all like, yay! We're all in awe of this thing. And then we notice that it has a bump on its forehead.
Yeah, I also love that the battle victory music plays in the...
Yes!
the cabin of the airship as they land.
It does.
General Morgan's like, yeah, da, 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 da.
It's so good.
But we approach and notice that it's got a big pimple on its forehead.
And we're like, I don't know why we don't assume that that's just normal. We're like, where is the gospel anyway? And then we're like, maybe it's an eyelid, maybe it has 3 eyes, and then it opens like an eyelid, but it's not an eyelid. It is just a gospel has been embedded into this creature's forehead.
Yes.
And then they somehow managed to put, like, skin over it. I'm a little confused about that part.
That's nasty.
I guess they put it under the skin, and it has the purple airwave thingies of the gospel, like, acting up, and then it takes off, flies up, and whooshes off into the air. And we follow it at top speed, but we lose it because we follow it into Nebel Valley where everything is fog. We're like, why are we still in a cloud? Oh.
Yes. They talk about how they're down to like 1.2 kilometers above ground and it's still like cloud cover. It's like, we should slow down. We are flying through the fog in like a valley, which means mountains, and you don't want to go 320 kilometers an hour into the side of a mountain.
That would be a quick way to end the series. Everyone would just die.
So we lose track of the dragon and decide to head back to base. And once we land, we're sort of like, well, damn, that didn't work out. And Estelle kind of puts forward the plan to take over as a ground force, like a small ground force to approach the dragon, rather than hounding it with airships, which will just like cause it to like take flight again. But that means we need to figure out where in Nebel Valley it is. And what do you know? Someone steps in to help. As a voice comes from off screen, as he loves to do, it's Agate, who's here to say he can help track the dragon.
Estelle's like, aren't you recovering? And Agate's like, no, I'm fine. And Estelle goes, Tita, is he serious? Estelle stare, Tita. Estelle stare. Like, she's narrating the fact that she's giving that, like, glare face she does.
Yeah. And she's like, yeah, he's fine. Like, he's actually legit. Then we get some updates about just how we're going to be able to take down this dragon with its gospel and everything. It's Agate's new sword.
Yes, he's received a gizmo from Professor Russell that he is attached to his new sword, and that will allow him to break gospels, which is a great skill to have on hand.
When they show the render of it, it looks like it just has an orbment embedded in the blade. It looks like one of the little clock faces.
Materia! It's just like the Buster Sword with the materia in it in the Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah. So it turns out the big secret of this device is that the way to cut through a gospel is vibrations, like high-frequency vibrations.
Yeah.
Which I guess is why when we used the buzzsaw powered by the combustion engine, it managed to make a scratch, And this is just like an accelerated version of that. So
Yeah.
basically Agat's heavy blade has turned into the heavy vibrator.
Amazing.
And now we're going to use it to beat a dragon.
Amazing. That's what Olivier wants to hear. He also says that he also knows how we're going to get to the dragon, because Morgan's like, you haven't gotten that part. And he says, I know this old man, Wyrm, the guy who has the log cabin that we've rested at before, and he taught us, like, evil stew that kills Shara in my playthrough.
Heaven and Hell stew, I think it is, yeah.
I don't think it was that in FC, but it might be that in the remake. It was Abyssal stew, I think. Something like that.
Oh, yes, like, that was the one that I missed and had to go back for, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, I even forgot to mention, I visited Hawken Gate earlier in the chapter and found some guys who were planning a mountaineering expedition, and they were talking about how they wanted to go to the uncharted northwest area of Nebel Valley, because that's actually not even mapped.
Oh, okay.
And so I would like that little bit of foreshadowing, because now we're going there, and Wyrm has apparently gone there. And Aga's like, we're going to go to his cabin, we're going to ask him how he got there, and we're going to get him to show us how to get there, and then we're going to go there and find a dragon, and I'm going to whack his forehead with my new vibrator, and all is going to be great. And General Morgan's like, well, we don't have a better plan, so okay.
Sure. We do make the concession that whether Chloe's in the party or not, Sieg will sort of tag along so that when we do find the location, we can send Sieg mail back to the army to say, hey, here's where the dragon is.
And Morgan is actually quite nice here, and he's like, we'll back you up. We'll be right there. Just focus on like your job, and we will be surrounded in place so that we can make sure the dragon doesn't get back to civilian areas if it takes off.
Yep.
So he's like quite supportive here. But we go up to Nebel Valley. We go to find Wyrm. I'm like, yo, old timer. And we tell him what we want, and Wylmer's like, absolutely not. You guys are treating the dragon like it's a big monster. Like, this is an intelligent ancient being. It's been here for 1,200 years at least. It is not just a monster.
Oh, actually, I forgot to mention, when we were going into Nebel Valley for the monster elimination at the start of this episode, I actually checked in at the cabin, and there's a little dialogue.
I did too.
That shows that Agat knows Wyrm already. He just like calls him old man, and they like have a bit of a rapport. So they just like establish that they already know each other, which is really cool. So it comes in even more naturally. I don't know if they'd attach it to this conversation, because they explain in that one and everything why he knows him.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not just gonna like let you go crazy in there. This isn't a monster. This is a great beast.
And it's also like you're also gonna get yourselves killed by going after this creature as though it's just like a monster hunt that's on the board.
Yeah.
And Olivia's like, yeah, he's right. Dragons are, according to the legends of the church, dragons are guardians sent by Adios. Agat basically gives a speech about why this is important and needs to protect people and stuff. Yeah, he won't take this like as a joke or whatever. And Wylmer's like, okay, you've convinced me. Come and meet me on the north side. He won't like teleport us over with him. We have to walk through this stupid fucking valley again.
Yep.
And then he's built a bridge somehow in the time that it took us, I guess, because it's such a big place and so easy. It takes forever.
His bridge is kind of like 2 planks, so
yes,
he didn't really need that much of a head start. And like the big secret of how to get to the other side of the valley is like bridge.
Yeah, the big secret is build a bridge that I would take down immediately after, I guess. Basically, we go over. Once you get there, we walk up and see the cave opening that Louve and Weissman went into at the beginning of the chapter.
Yes.
And Olivier is in my party at this point, and he points out that we promised to contact the RSA.
Same.
And Estelle's like, okay, and walks over to the ledge and screams, Sieg, and Sieg comes up and she writes a note and gives it to Sieg to bring. I love that she just shouts Sieg.
Yeah, works the same as it does for Chloe.
Agat also is like, man, that falcon makes no freaking sense.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this, that little moment. And then we head inside the cave and find a lot of the monsters in this cave are the same ones that we had for the elimination quest. Yeah,
all 3 of those kinds can be found there, as well as a new variation of boiled egger, I think, is the other thing that's in there.
Yes, and then there's some, like, cannon fodder monsters, like the
Cryon.
The little guys that hang out, the cryon bits, yeah.
Yeah, and there's master cryons as well. Those are on the outside. This is a kind of dungeon design that I like, where there's like indoor parts and outdoor parts as you're like climbing a mountain. And during the outdoor parts, there's the cryon bits and the master cryons. So it kind of ties together that the monsters that showed up out of nowhere freaked out were all monsters that hang out in the same place as the dragon. And then when the dragon freaked out, the monsters from there freaked out and went to other places closer to people.
the dragon started getting all aggro and flying around, and that upset its, like, neighbors. So that's why we found these, like, enraged versions, who all have, the boss ones we fought have about, like, 3 times as much health as these ones, so they're a lot easier to take down as, like, normal monsters now.
Yep.
But they have the same behaviors, basically.
There's also some good chest messages here.
Oh, yes.
One I really liked is, you look under the chest hoping to find the keys to a brand new airship. You don't find anything.
Yeah, this was actually where I found that localization team one as well. I don't know if I missed a duplicate of it.
No, that's the only place. I just got ahead of myself.
But yeah, those were the only 2 that I actually saved from this dungeon.
There's another one I got. Yeah, this treasure chest graduated at the top of its class at the Riches Royal Academy.
Congratulations. That must be next door to Janice, I guess.
Yeah, it's a fairly long, it's fairly long, but it goes fairly quickly because it's not a lot of small monsters filling in the way. It's like more big monsters, which ends up, I think, being less monsters total.
Yeah, like, I pretty much got myself up to 200 CP on everyone and then just avoided fights for the most part, because
I did that mostly.
Even now, like, they weren't doing that much XP gain anymore, and I was at, like, level 65 with everyone at this point, so I was pretty comfortable.
At one point, when you exit, like, from one area to another, we get a scene of Sieg arriving at the airship and delivering our message. So we know that all worked out. But we just continue. There's a lot of fun treasure chests, some new weapons, and, like, gear, which is cool. But then we make our way to where Ragnar is hanging out. And he's, like, sleeping. I guess he tired himself out earlier.
Yeah, he's sleeping with his gospel exposed as well.
Yeah, super convenient. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go and smash his head. And I like that you get this little animation of him, like, sneaking up, going, like, hiding behind, like, a stalactite or stalagmite, whichever one. Yeah, a big rock thing. And, like, as he sneaks up, and then he goes and he hits the gospel, and it seems like he hits it right on the spot, and it starts glowing.
Well, we simply cannot skip over the part where he activates his sword and turns on the disco lighting.
Oh, yes, that's right. Right. Oh, my God.
Yes, he turns on this powerful new vibrating ornament, and it's just LED lighting along the edge of his sword. It looks so funny.
It's so good.
He's like, yes, now it's ready. Then he runs up and does his big dramatic slash on the gospel.
And it's too shallow.
And we hear, tink, he didn't cut hard enough.
It's like, he needs one more hit.
Needs one more, so we've got to fight the dragon. And oh boy, do we fight the dragon.
It's actually, like, I found it a really easy fight.
It actually is. Like, it has a lot of health. It has, like, almost 26,000 health points.
But you're doing, like, at least 3,000 with each hit.
It's surprisingly weak to physical attacks. So this thing that could not be affected by, like, bullets, hitting it with a stick, and also shooting it with a gun, seem to work just fine.
I think they do make a comment about how it's vulnerable right now. Like, maybe it's between the whole ordeal this morning and then hitting it on the gospel maybe messed it up.
Yeah.
I don't think this is meant to be its full power self. I think it's, like, messed up.
Yeah.
It's also been fighting the mind control, presumably, this whole time, because Luve keeps having to re-up it. So it might also just be exhausted and weakened from all of that. Yeah,
so it's a bit of a slow fight, but it's not a tough fight. He has this one really powerful magic attack.
Yeah, that you can't cancel, I don't think.
I can't remember what it's called, but you can't cancel it. I had every party member try and cancel it to no effect.
I killed him before he got the move off.
Oh, lucky. I got to see the move, so I feel happy about that, because it didn't actually do that much damage in the end.
Nice.
But it does specifically say in his description, legendary ancient dragon, has an incredibly tough body, uses ancient magic.
Yes.
So I think that's kind of their excuse for why you can't cancel. He's not using a pocket watch, he's using I am a dragon.
Yeah, it's real magic, not like technology magic.
But after we do enough damage, we do about 26,000 health points worth of damage.
Yeah.
The dragon gets knocked down, but not out.
Yeah.
So we need to give Agate another try at bonking this thing on the head.
Agate gets an idea to run up the like mounted ledge that conveniently would place him right where the dragon's head is.
Yep.
And Tita still has one of her like flash canisters or whatever. Mm-hmm. So she Estelle's like, shoot it right up in the air, not at the dragon. And then Olivia and Estelle rush in and hit the dragon's like underside as it's reacting, and it like slumps onto the ground.
Kneecap it, basically, yeah.
Yep. And then right then Agate jumps, does his big jump, his hiya, and he gets the gospel. And Estelle gives her delighted Holy Stragas. That was cool.
That was cool, though.
I love that Holy Stragas is back, but it was cool. And Olivia goes, goodness, you've stolen the spotlight and my heart entirely. And Agate just kind of laughs at that. I like that Agate is not having gay panic now. Olivia flirts with him and Agate just like laughs. He's like, ha.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Growth. Look at his growth.
Yeah.
And then somebody else chimes in to say how cool that was. A voice that's in green font.
Yes.
Says impressive, children of man.
Who could be talking but our friend Ragnar?
The trans dragon. We're like, what the fuck? How are you talking? How are we hearing you? He's basically like, I speak in the space between our minds, not with a voice.
It's dragon telepathy.
He's like, but you can speak your thoughts out loud if you'd rather say them out loud than think them at me. He has dragon telepathy, and he's so good at it that he can perform it on people who don't have dragon telepathy, or any telepathy, because Chloe's not even in my party.
Me neither.
And he says, your kind call me Ragnar, some of the great worms, with a Y, worms, not like...
Wyrms.
Would you still love me if I was a worm? Who long have dwelt in this land. And so it's like, you don't want to eat us or anything anymore, right? And Ragnar confirms that his freak out was because of that device. And the party's still kind of freaked out about it. And Ragnar's taking this, well, he's called Ancient Dragon Ragnar, to be clear. That's how his name shows up.
Yeah.
Cool title alert again. And he says, yeah, your concern is very valid. A city and a village came to ruin because of me. The will wasn't my own, but the burden of those actions is mine to bear. He's like, I cast myself on thy mercies as to make amends. Ask of me what boon thou willst. He's very regretful.
Yeah.
He is very upset about this. He's not saying it in like a whiny, dramatic way, but he's clearly like very sincerely like, he's an ancient guardian type creature. So as a ancient guardian of Liberl, obviously, the last thing you'd ever want to do is like harm the villages and people of the country.
Yeah.
So this is like forced to do something antithetical to his existence.
Yeah.
Well, we can't really ask you of anything as long as you seem, it sounds like you seem sincere, so I'm sure if you apologize, everyone will forgive you.
Yeah.
And Ragnar's like, that's not the answer I was looking for, so here's a giant piece of gold septium.
Yeah, it makes it seem like he just summons it out of nowhere. These two giant glowing gold things that descend down to Agate and Estelle, respectively. I did kind of think that he either cried them or just like spat them out. Just like, let me give you something. It's like a dragon hairball.
Yeah.
But they're these two giant goldier gems, the space sepith.
Yeah.
And then Agate says, not good enough.
So the idea is he's like, these are for both of the villages that came to ruin for like repairs. And Agate's like, that's not good enough. And he's like, that's not good enough because you didn't cover our pay as bracers.
Wild move from Agate Krosner. I was just like, not good enough. And I was like, okay, is this going to be like Agate for Justice? Where he's like, you did so much damage and you scared so many people.
Money can't fix that.
And, people are in hospital and you need to give more recompense. But he's just like, no, you need to pay us to deliver this.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't courier things for free, so you have to pay us as well. So make us a gem that's about 1/10,000th the size of this, because I think he estimates it about 10 million mirrors worth or something, each of these gems.
Yeah.
So make one about 10,000th of the size, and that'll do to cover our delivery fee. And the dragon says,
sure.
Such chastisement is perhaps warranted. True absolution dwells not in the realm that coin, gem, or gift can secure. And then he just does the sparkle effect again, but it's much, much smaller.
Yeah.
And this teeny tiny little gem descends to Agate's hand, and he's like, sweet, we've been paid. We will take on your job, Mr. Ragnar.
It's so good.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just refusing to, like, Agate's like, I'm not able to mentally cope with the fact that this is an ancient dragon from the goddess speaking to me, so I'm just going to treat this as a business contract with a regular client. I'm going to ask him to pay me. Like, I'm going to call him Mr. I'm going to quote my fees at him. I'm just going to, like, sublimate the fact that this is an ancient legendary creature speaking to me through dragon telepathy. I can't cope with that, so we're just gonna business as usual this.
We're not done here, because after that, after he's paid our fee...
Ragnar says, that was a good attack, Agate, but a lack of focus afflicted thee in thy battle against the swordsman. Perhaps thou hast sloughed off aimless fury to gird thyself in stronger resolve. So he's like, hopefully this has therapized you and you'll be stronger now that you're not crashing out all the time.
Yes.
And then...
he also says, Tita, you are very brave for such a tiny, tiny girl.
Oh, he has a beautiful line about it. He says, small daughter of man, Thy bravery and courage were worthy of the songs of minstrels and the praise of poets. That's just such a beautiful way to say that Teoh was brave enough to inspire the great songs and poems.
You were literally epically brave.
You could be like the Iliad, the Odyssey, like that's you're as brave as any of them. Like Teoh is so brave. I love when people are nice to her and say that because she's the best. And then it says, in thou I see the strength and virtue of humanity held fast despite the passing of the ages. And it's like, clearly he has not interacted with humans in a long time beyond like a few here and there that we'll hear about. You have proven to me that humanity is still good. You, Teoh Russell, specifically.
You, Teoh Russell, are one of the good ones.
You have validated the worthiness of humanity.
Yep.
It's an entire species. You, Teoh Russell. And that's what she deserves, honestly.
100%. And then Ragnar turns to Estelle and says, "Ah, yes, it is well I know thy scent. Thou art the offspring of the divine blade."
So like, the fuck? It's amazing how when Estelle's like, nobody else can surprise me by going, you're Cassius's daughter.
I finally come to terms with how cool my dad is, and there's like...
And everyone's obsessed with him.
My dad knows a fucking dragon?
I like dragon god thing? Like, what? Why is Cassius like this? I love him.
Yeah, which is great. Like, this spread is so good. Like, Ragnar said, Agate, you're getting better. Teoh, you're the bravest little girl. Estelle, I know your fucking dad.
It's so good. And she's like, and Olivier gets nothing because he's an optional party member. So it can be whoever.
Yeah, also technically Estelle gets nothing because she gets no positive feedback from the dragon. She's just like, I know your dad. Ragnar
is like, 20 years ago, he came to try and challenge himself against me. So he found me and was like, I want to fight you and see if I can beat you. Estelle's like, he never casually mentioned knowing a dragon, though.
Yeah, could have brought that up, Dad.
We also get confirmation that it wasn't Louvet who put the device on his forehead. It was Weissman. And Louvet actually was basically doing everything in his strength to limit the damage that Ragnar was doling out when he was under control.
Yeah.
Louvet was basically using the mind control to limit, to curb it as much as he could.
It sounds like the professor just set the dragon to mayhem mode, and
Louvet reined it in.
Louvet's the one who's trying to, like, constrain it.
And yeah, Ragnar's like, literally everyone and everything in both towns would have been burned to ashes. Not a survivor would be left if Louvet hadn't been holding me back.
Yes. And then he refers to the device that he was holding him back with as a gospel of the aureole.
We're like, do you know what the experiment was? And he's like, this was to prove that can be considered a gospel of the aureole, that it is at that level, that it has reached that point. This is a test to prove that they've made themselves a gospel of the aureole.
And so at this point, everyone's like, oh shit, you know about the aureole. Please tell us about the aureole immediately now. What is the shining ring?
And he's like, it's nowhere yet, it's everywhere, which is helpful.
I did quote his little speech because this is like a Blue Blanc level riddle. This is actually the riddles that Blue Blanc wishes. Nowhere is it to be found, and yet it is everywhere, possessed of infinite power and the sum of all wisdom, yet the harbinger of bottomless despair. And when thou standeth in its presence, man must offer up an answer. Okay.
I mean, Agate's been looking for an answer, so maybe that's what it's looking for. Oh no, wait, the answer's 42, obviously.
Should have said that. And then he kind of apologizes. He says, like, by virtue of the, what does he call it? The ancient oaths.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, sorry, I literally can't tell you anything more than that because the ancient oaths limit me. He basically has a non-interference clause.
Yeah, like bracers. He can't render them aid, and he can't protect them from the fangs of the society, as he puts it.
Yes.
But he says that in time, you shall have an answer to offer up, and on that day our paths again shall cross. I pray for the hastening of that day, that hour.
Yes, and then he kind of flies off into the sky because it's time for him to leave. I guess he needs to go pick up some skincare to deal with this big, like, pockmark on the middle of his forehead now.
Though he stops to talk to General Morgan and everyone. He's like, hey guys, sorry about that. We're good now.
I love this, yeah. I like that he very sort of old school refers to them as the brave bannerman of Osles.
Yes.
But this scene is hilarious because basically he flies up, scares the shit out of them and says, hey, actually, we're cool, don't worry about it, and flies off.
I'm sober now.
No explanation to them. He flows up, he's like, hey, I can talk, by the way. we're chill. I'm gonna go.
Bye. And then we get the screen that says, Estelle and her group spent a long, again in parentheses, time explaining everything that had happened to General Morgan.
Yeah, he needed it, because he didn't get a lot of the facts. Like, he's like, hey, we're at this mountain. We're gonna figure it out. And then he flew there, and then the dragon showed up and said, no worries.
We're chill.
Here's your first experience with telepathy, and I'm out.
Bye.
It's great because basically, as that scene ends and the dragon flies off, Morgan remarks to himself, he's like, braces, you got some splaining to do.
Yep.
It's just like, I need to know.
He's like, what the fuck just happened? Then we cut to a scene we shouldn't be laughing for, because this is actually quite a moving scene.
Yes, 1 week later, once everything has settled down a bit, we find ourselves back in Ravenue with Agate and Teoh.
We see this new tractor. They've gotten a lot of rebuilding done, clearly, and that's all good. But we are in the graveyard with Agate and Teoh is holding a bouquet of flowers. Clearly, finally introducing Teoh to Misha. But as we walk up to the big gravestone, General Morgan is actually there, and there's flowers laid at the grave. And we get a little conversation between Morgan and Agate, where Agate's basically like, I always wondered the other person who left flowers here every year. But Morgan has also, it seems like every year, it's also around the same day every year, like maybe the anniversary.
Yeah, it's cute though that he doesn't explicitly admit to it. Like, he's being gruff as usual, and he's just kind of says something along the lines of like,
oh, I'm an old man, I don't remember what I've done.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, Mr. General in the Army, like, I sure hope you remember what you're up to, or else you should not be working in that job anymore. And Agate basically says that he's been struggling for a really long time with this grief and loss and everything, but he's finally ready to kind of come to terms with it and face it and move forward.
Yeah.
Teoh puts her flowers down too.
Morgan also mentions that Agate was right about working with braces, that they do need to kind of work within their respective strengths as a team rather than going against each other, because he's right. The braces can mobilize quicker, they can make decisions quicker, they can react with a small force in the way that the army can't with their big force.
Yeah.
And he sort of acknowledges, like, we're still gonna, like, come to, like, loggerheads sometimes.
Yeah.
We're not always going to be perfectly thing, but if we come into it with an energy of, like, cooperation and participation, then we'll be able to figure it out. Because we know that at the end of the day, we're here to do the same thing. We're here to protect and serve the community. And so they have that kind of common link, and everything is, like, really coming to a nice, peaceful resolution. We've kind of, like, buried the hatchet, and then another voice comes in from off screen.
Of course it is. I don't remember exactly what he says. I don't have the screenshot.
He just kind of joins the conversation, and the camera pans around, and holy shit, it's Louve.
Holding a bouquet of flowers. And Agate just shouts, you, and pulls his sword out. He's like, what are you here to do? And Louve says, this is a place where the dead rest. There's only one proper thing to do. Or do you intend to reenact our last meeting here in a place like this? And I was like, fine, and puts the sword away. Now that Louve's confirmed he's not here to fight or start shit, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll put my sword away.
Yes.
Louve puts his flowers down, offers a silent prayer. It comments that he prays at this grave.
I was gobsmacked when this happened. I was like, what a baller move from Louve to show up, like, entirely peaceful with, like, maybe some of his greatest enemies in the country right now.
Yeah.
Impressive.
But General Morgan's like, can I ask you a question? And Louve's like, by all means. And General Morgan basically is like, so, it seems like you were preventing the dragon from causing more problems. What's up with that? And why would you, if you're the type who's going to try and stop collateral damage, why would a man such as you bring chaos to our land? What sort of demons in your soul drive you to such acts? And Louve's like, the only reason that I reined in the dragon's rampage was to conduct a proper experiment. He, like, brushes it off, and he says, I simply act as the hand of the society, as it orders. I am bound to the will of the society and no other. Stop reading into it. There's clearly more to him than he's letting on. He is clearly not quite as... He's really wants everyone to think that he's just cold and uncaring, but we've seen him with Ren.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen him with the little girl there. We've seen him being weird around Alba. He's not as unbothered as he likes to pretend.
He plays the monster, but he clearly has a more complex moral code than we're used to seeing from the society. And so Louve kind of, like, bites back at Morgan a little bit and says, do not think to compare yourself to me, you who are bound by force to silence over Hamel, which definitely catches Morgan off guard.
Yeah. And Agate goes, Hamel? What's that place got to do with anything? Which is a different response than we've had, like, last time he mentioned it to Queen Alicia, everyone's like, what's a Hamel? And Queen Alicia's like, knows what it means. Agate knows what Hamel is.
Very interesting.
He knows this town. He doesn't know why it's relevant, but he knows that it's a town in southern Arabonia.
So it's at this point that Louvet kind of takes his leave. He kind of says, they'll fight next time, and just leaves the scene to not answer any questions that he's just raised. After he leaves, Teoh actually pipes up and says that
Mr. Lenhart
is very confusing because he was trying to be cold, but he had like a lot of sadness behind his eyes, and he was just trying to cover it up being like a tough boy.
Especially when he was praying, he had really lonely, sad eyes, she says.
Tita's got a type. She really goes for these like sad boys who like to cover up their shit. So she can read him as easily as she can read Agate.
Yeah.
But then Agate actually turns to Morgan and like presses him on the Hamel stuff. It turns out that the reason he knows the name of Hamel when other people don't is because they're so close to the border with Harkengate. They actually used to be in contact between Ravenou and Hamel as kind of like, I don't know, sister towns on either side of the border.
Probably did trade or something too.
Before the 100 Days War. Because yeah, they're an agricultural town, or before the war they would have been a mining town, I suppose.
But either way, I think Hamel and Ravenou are probably closer together than they are to their next closest town. So it makes sense also just that you're right there.
Yeah, so they're in close contact before the war, but not since, and no one knows what happened. Morgan kind of buttons up and says, well, I can't tell you because it's a matter of international security.
I can, however, say this.
Mm.
If my suspicions about that man are true, then that man, Louvet, has stared into the pits of Gehenna with his own 2 eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't tell us about Hamel. He can't tell us about it. He's bound by force, as Louvet said, to be silent about it. But whatever his suspicions are, Louvet's been through some shit.
Mm-hmm. Everyone seems to have been through a lot of shit, everywhere, always. But it's nice to see some of it coming to light.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that next chapter will be entirely about the party questing to break General Morgan's NDA, because I want to know more about what's going on.
Next chapter's really good.
Because that brings us to the end of chapter 5.
Mm-hmm.
That which one must protect.
We did it!
And so for the next episode, we are going to do it all in one go, but it is going to be 2 weeks until it goes up. It's not a chapter that makes sense to cut up, but we didn't want to just race it in 1 week to do it. So that'll be up 2 weeks from when you're hearing this, and we'll be doing the full chapter 6.
Yep, so we might be playing a little bit fast and loose with the schedule for the remainder of the episodes of second chapter, just to let everyone know in advance. We haven't fully finalized the plan, but essentially we're aiming to get the entire game done before Christmas this year, and then take a bit of break over Christmas, New Year's period for ourselves, because we have been playing these games back to back pretty much, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of game. You may have noticed based on how long these episodes are getting.
And we're having a blast, but we also don't want it to become unsustainable in any way. But we do want to get it out before Christmas. We don't want to leave you guys hanging. So we are...
Exactly, yeah.
Probably January, maybe February, we'll start up with third.
Exactly. That'll give us some time to get into that game and figure out, how we're going to structure that exactly, because it's laid out a little bit differently to these games. But we'll come back with more news about that, what exactly that's going to look like in the new year as we get closer. So yes, from now till the end of the game, we have somewhere between, we're estimating...
6 to 7 episodes left, I think. One of the chapters, depending if we break it into 2 parts or 3 parts.
But we will update you week to week as usual about all of that. But for now, we'll be taking a break next week, and we will return with all of chapter 6 the week after. So look forward to that.
I'm so excited for this chapter. It's such a good chapter.
I'm excited. We're coming up to the end of the game. We're learning more and more. I was so sure that this chapter would be the one where we got Josh back together with the party, at least crossing paths, but I was wrong. So before we sign off for the week, we have one last treasure chest to check that we didn't hit during our playthrough. That is the TWG community chest. Now, I did get some reports from Chest HQ. The folks at the Royal Riches Academy have said that there have been some budget cuts, unfortunately. So we're only getting one chest message per week going forwards. We have actually been through all of the TWG shows at this point.
Yeah.
We wanted to make sure to sing everyone out quickly on arriving in the network to say hi to all of our fellow shows and content avenues in the TWG network. So we'll slow things down a bit now and go for one per episode. So opening up
Who
the
do we have
community
here?
chest for this week. Our first singular chess message is Girl Mode.
Girl Mode! Everyone go listen to Girl Mode.
We love Girl Mode. Robin and Willa over there, chatting it up, video games. Two fellow games journalists, probably more prolific than me, if I'm being extremely, not even humble, just truthful about it. They do great work out there, and while I don't always agree with their video game opinions, it is important to listen to people you agree with and disagree with to hear all their points.
I always enjoy their opinions.
Yes.
Like, even when I don't agree, I enjoy them. They're always
Exactly.
they're always interesting. They make me think about the games. And sometimes I totally agree. It's very fun when they hate something I also hate. That's always fun. Or when they love something I also love. I'm like, yes!
It's great to feel that camaraderie, whether you're on the positive or negative side of the fence. But at the same time, I like to hear someone with an opposing opinion to me, because if you can stay grounded and not feel personally attacked by it, it is great to hear someone explain why they don't like something you like. Maybe they can be convinced, maybe not. It's just interesting to know.
Also, art criticism is the only way that art grows as any form. And video game criticism is a developing art form, so it's particularly important. I mean, you know better than me that the weird crossover of like industry and like corporate interests and commercial interests and then the art criticism interests. So I'm always just anyone who's doing interesting stuff in video game criticism, I think that's an important avenue.
I have a lot of love for anyone who can communicate an opinion, positive or negative, with reasoning behind it. It's one thing to say you like or hate something, but you need to be able to back that up with reasons. Otherwise, it's not advancing the conversation at all. And that's why I love journalists and podcasters like Robin and Willa, because they will back up their reasoning and give you something to think about. So check out the podcast. Previous guest, Autumn Wright, who was on a few episodes ago, has been a guest on the show multiple times now.
Couple of times, yeah, I think so.
With more on the horizon, as we learnt. Great content from the team at Girl Mode, great guests on Girl Mode, always something interesting to check out. So give them a listen. But with that, I think that'll do it for us this week. I'm going to close the community chest.
We gotta post a picture of that somewhere, because it's a great visual gag that nobody but me gets to enjoy.
I will have to put a photo up of it somewhere, yeah. So that'll do it for us this week. Thank you so much for listening to Trails Through Trails. We love to have you here. We love to talk about these games, and we love to hear from you. As we said earlier in the episode, any German-speaking listeners out there who can correct our pronunciation, we would love to hear it. I think we do have at least one listener in Germany because I see the analytics.
Yes.
So it doesn't tell us your name, but how cool would it be if I turned to the microphone right now and said, oh, what's a German name? Wilhelm, tell us how to pronounce the words. But thank you for listening either way, Wilhelm. We love you and all of the rest of you in the other countries. Please correct us on our pronunciation whenever possible. You can do that by hitting us up at TrailsPod on Twitter, Instagram, and X the Everything app if you really have to. You can email us at trailsthroughtrails@gmail.com. Please rate and review us on your podcast apps of choice. We would love to see what you think of us. We don't base our personal worth on what you think, but it does help. You can find us on the OrbleNet at trailspod.online or as part of the TWG community at theworstgarbage.online, where you can also access the Discord to come and chat to us. Next episode, which will be in 2 weeks, we'll be playing all of Chapter 6 of Trails in the Sky second chapter. But until then, I've been Matt.
I've been Lex.
And we will see you next time in a fortnight.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my god, you won't believe what day it is here.
What is it?
International Day of the Girl Child.
Oh, they did it just for us.
TWG, the worst garbage. Online.